Welcome to the show. We're back. We're here. We're live. Yeah.
Are we? To you as well.
Okay, good. Sorry. Pressing a lot of buttons.
All right, my mic works.
It's a weird day. I've been trying to, I got too energized, got a little panicky about our show today because I'm like, man, this is going to be painful. And it's going to be awkward and I'm going to feel terrible and it makes me very, very nervous. And then, of course, we're not even out yet. So there's that pressure as well. So I'm trying to stay alert. The thing that I forgot about in the last show where I just completely blacked out.
Yes.
I got an HGH pen. I had it behind me because I'm almost out of HGH. And because I got fired, I cannot willingly pay for more HGH. It just seems like, dude, you might be fucked. So you can't, it's expensive shit.
Yeah.
So I was going to do the last one. It's my golf cart and HGH fund. Like, it's so pathetic for me to ask for help because of the things that I'm leaving now are, you spoilt fuck. You know what I mean? I'm saying, oh God, Patreon, so that I can pay my golf cart and HGH life. Like, fucking, you loser. Just get a tent, suck a butt. But I am a little bit worried because I got the knee surgery and my doctor said, if you can afford it, you could up your HGH and that will heal your knee faster. And, it's actually, it's scientifically proven to do that specific thing really well. So I don't really care about, I never noticed looking any better. I think maybe because I was drinking and smoking weed all the time. So I just look like shit. Like, who cares? So I never saw whatever that part is supposed to be where celebrities do it to stay youthful. Like, I didn't feel like I was youthful, but I do feel like ice cream sandwiches still in shape. There's some HGH that's involved in that because I will fucking crush like a bag of cookies, Kevin. A whole bag. Like, ask Kate, sometimes I wake up and I'll have like cookie crumbs on my chest and I'm like, oh my God, or a gummy bear will be stuck on my back. Like, I fucking wreck some shit before I go to sleep.
I told you about the time, right, that one time I went out to bars and then stayed over at my friend's house. We were still living with our parents. We were so young. And when we woke up in the morning, we thought that I'd been bleeding from the mouth because I woke up and I just had this brown stain that was down my face and onto my shirt. Yeah. And we were really concerned that I'd almost, like, we'd heard of guys choking to death on their own vomit. We thought I'd almost choked to death on my own blood from drinking so much.
It's like Willy Wonka and AC/DC combined.
And then you almost choked to death on chocolate.
No, like the same time
we both kind of metal.
We both turned to the same plate of Oreo cookies that we'd been snacking on. So yeah, I fell asleep mid chew.
Yeah.
Well, human growth hormone is arguably more medically necessary than golf carts. Like,
nice.
You can
wow, I
case.
did not know that I was going to get some fucking sweet advice on how I should just keep paying for that HGH. This is awesome. Go ahead, Michael. I love this.
Everybody needs it a little bit, and some people need it. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Again.
What about if I tell you how much a pen is? Well, you change your mind.
So wait, do you vape it?
No, I'll do it right now. I've got one shot left.
I mean, I wasn't trying to twist your arm into doing something you don't want to do.
Can you get it, Katie?
Hey, I got fired too. Can we split it?
I mean, I'll dig it. I'll shank you with it.
Maybe if we freebase it, there'll be enough for all three. Like, I want to be able to crush some ice cream sandwiches.
I think you'll find that like one pokey, not a whole lot happens. It's like you got to stay on it for a while.
What about if we burn it and put it in a brown paper bag and we all just put our mouths over it?
I don't know if that. I could try. It's a liquid. I could squirt it into a spoon and we could suck it up and inject it. Wait, I realized I got
HGH crack.
I don't know how it works.
I'm really good at making gravity bongs.
Hey, can you smoke HGH? That's a question for. I wish I could take a phone call.
Katie, can you grab an apple?
Squirt HGH over an apple.
Is there enough left to dip a cigarette into it? I mean, you can all take a couple pulls.
Yes. I mean, you got to see it though. It's a pen. You can't. I'd have to break it open.
Oh.
So like, it's an actual pen.
We should probably consult with scientists first.
I wonder, is it legal to stab yourself on YouTube? They can cut that out. But look, it's a pen.
Yep.
And it has, see the juice that's left in the very end of it? It's almost empty. That thing is usually full, but that's the last.
Oh, yeah. That's like if you get stung by a bee.
Yeah, it's like an EpiPen.
Oh, yeah, I never had an EpiPen, but.
My kid had those for a while. Thank goodness we never had to use them.
allergic bee thing.
No, he was allergic to wheat when he was born.
Wait, and then it went away?
Yeah, apparently it's not uncommon for kids to have a wheat allergy. We found out we were in Japan and he ate like a tiny little bit of soy sauce. Turns out that's got wheat in it, and we had to take him to the emergency
I
room.
don't know if I can. You go. Bink.
Yeah.
Ooh, Hulk
Nice.
smash! It's not going to be like that, is it?
Didn't really. Yeah.
3 seconds later, the camera gets knocked on his side. Is this just
I told you wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
more of a low budget action movie where the camera just gets knocked over and you hear shit happening?
No, stop! Make it stop!
Oh my God, he's got a giant space weapon.
I can't control myself. Yeah, no, that could be. So that's the end of that. But maybe it's not the end of that after Michael's pep talk. Maybe I should just splurge and tell the doctor to send me another pen. But right now, I feel like we don't do Postmates anymore. Well, there's a few things that I think is for the good, really. I think at one point it was just like lazy. You know, it's like, what are you going to do? Let's order food. Well, why? Because don't want to make it. It's like a hassle. And now it's like, that shit adds up. Should probably make it. So I think we're eating better because I know every time Katie cooks, it's better than whatever I got the Stay Classy meats. So whenever she cooks, I got like the best meat you can buy. And
Solid.
yeah, and then you add some veggies and that's like way healthier than what I was going to get from Postmates, which is usually Thai food or pizza because I just want to get that home bred white boy thing back. I swear, it's just your childhood. Like my childhood was full of white bread and butter. And we didn't eat it. Like pizzas was like a big deal. You get a pizza on the weekends and we'd be like, whoa, we're getting pizza. Or McDonald's was a big treat as well. We never did fast food stuff. And fast food in Australia, because they were still smaller, they were mum and pop fast food. So it wasn't that bad. Like the meat was probably pretty high grade back then when I was a kid because they probably weren't corn fed. They were probably still grass fed back then in Australia.
Yeah.
So and it was a normal burger. It wasn't a chain. They handmade patties and gave you a burger with the lot. In Australia, you got burger with pineapples and beetroot. They go fucking hard. I don't know if they do it anymore. You would definitely fucking peanut butter and jelly guy. With that burger that you ate in wherever we were, what was that?
Was that Minneapolis?
Peanut butter and jelly and cheese, and I'm like, oh my god!
Yeah, I forget what they called those things. They were like, I don't know why
Fucking
I can't
disgusting.
get peppermint patty out of my head, but that's not what they were called.
Because they were stuffed. It was inside the patty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Stuffed burgers.
Well, for sure, I would assume in Australia that all the cows are just grazing on, you have endless land.
Juicy Lucy. That's what they were
There you
called.
go.
Maybe
Because
not now, but definitely back then.
I would
'cause more
imagine
people.
there's way more land than you're ever going to need there. So I would assume that is the case. When I was in Ireland, it's a law that every bit of beef that you buy in the store has to tell you like what farm it came from. And I don't think that's because Irish people are crazy, hardcore animal right, vegan leaning people. I think it's because it's really, really easy for them to do. Because there's
I was going to say, I think we don't do it because it's so many people that it's so much harder for them to do that. Like
Yeah.
It would cost them way more money if they were to tell us exactly where it all came from because they're all trying to cut corners. And if they were to tell us exactly what they're doing to cut corners, we'd probably all not buy it.
for sure. But there,
that's not true,
you
but
never need to
a lot
drive
of
more than like 15 minutes to see a cow just standing on the side of the road. So it's pretty easy.
Right.
That's what Ireland is like. There's grass everywhere. That's green. That's the whole thing with
Yeah.
Ireland. There's grass everywhere, and there's cows just roaming the land everywhere.
Yeah.
I've often wondered, how crazy would it be if somebody just said, hey, I've got an idea for food safety here. Every place, Tyson or whatever that sells meat in the store just needs to put cameras.
Well,
Live stream it? Do them in OnlyFans?
But they do that, and then they take them down. Like people have like snuck in.
But that's my
filmed.
point. What if we just said, hey, if you have nothing to hide, just put up a
But
camera?
it's government approved. Like, yeah, I know what you're saying. If the government was like, hey, we're no longer going to be in business with you because that's what they fucking are, dude. Like the government fully knows that they're dirty and they're like not treating the meat as good as they could.
Yes.
But they're getting paid to forget about it. So yeah, if politicians weren't corrupt, that would be a great idea.
No, I get that, but that's sort of the point that I'm making is the solution to all of this oversight would be very, very easy. Just, hey guys, we're going to just put cameras where it only makes sense that as human beings, we should want to see how our food is before it goes in our mouth. So just put cameras in there. And if you said that, it would be as preposterous as saying like universal basic income. Hey, the government should just give everybody $200,000 a year. It would be equally laughed out of government, even though one sort of is a radical idea and the other one is not radical in the slightest.
Dude, you could do cameras where all the meat is done, and you could do everybody in America who makes a lot of money pays taxes.
That'd be a good start.
You know
like
what I mean?
one.
That'd be a huge hit too. Everyone, all of you. Oh, I thought, no, everybody has to give their chunk. And it's like a thing, like you said, Michael, with the cameras. There's no, it's for sure Jeff Bezos and everybody pays their full thing of taxes.
Yeah.
It's all recorded and you can't get around it. But obviously somebody's doing
I like
that.
it.
It's just weird how you can, it's not even sneaky. It's like, we didn't pay. And everyone's like, gays shouldn't go in the bathroom. It's like, what the fuck? Just let's get them to pay taxes, and let's get all the people that are sex trafficked off the sex trafficking thing. Like those two, to me, I still haven't heard of a one where I'm like, oh no, yeah, get to that first and then get to these two. Like those ones are, when everybody else has to argue about all the other arguments, I'm like, those are valid. I can see how that's frustrating too. But man, what about just billionaires paying as much as manager at McDonald's?
I don't think they want to do that.
Yeah, right? Seems that way.
Right.
Have you thought about getting an afro? Like a perm.
A perm. Nope.
What about now that I said that?
No.
Because you don't have, it's thin
Yep.
and you're not bald. It's just thin. And perms give fucking mad body and bounce.
Yeah,
But you need-
volume for days.
You could be like our Howard Stern.
You need the hair
I could go
for that.
over to you, young Howard Stern. You'd be like, my father.
Kevin,
made oatmeal.
Kevin, you said you needed the hair for a perm. If you and I learned one thing growing up in New Jersey in the 1980s, it's that any woman can have a perm.
Yes.
Not this woman.
Do
I'm
people
telling
in
you,
Jersey, are there mums that still have the perm from their heyday in
I don't
Jersey?
believe so. Here's my what I found with that was that women had perms or they looked like John Bon Jovi. Probably a little bit unfair. It was more that John Bon Jovi looked like every chick who didn't have a perm in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And some of them obviously just kept with the times and evolved. But everybody who had stuck with that because they didn't know time was up or they didn't know which way to turn, the Rachel, Jennifer Aniston with Friends.
Oh, yeah.
Took out every single last one of them and they all switched to the Rachel, and they probably, some of them still have the Rachel.
Yeah.
Which is not so bad.
Yeah, no, being stuck in a Karen would be way worse.
Exactly.
For sure.
Hey everybody, Jason Ellis here, talking to you about Stay Classy Meats. This show, we are in partnership together. I'm very proud to talk to you about Stay Classy Meats. I've been eating them for some time now, and when they found out about me being booted, they were the first people trying to sponsor the podcast. So I'm very proud to be in business with these guys. This is it's a family business, so it's not the man. You know, you're helping out a family business, especially in these times. This is a tried and proven, tested on athletes. I would say myself, but I'm a little older and not as athletic. I'm like not number 1 or 2 in the world or anything. But I have noticed a difference. But Stay Classy Meats has other real top level at this point in time athletes who swear by it. This is tried, tested, proven, really good, top quality grass-fed meat delivered to your door. Family business. You're helping everybody here, and it's the best quality. My cat loves Stay Classy Meats, but she's not allowed it because she's a cat, and they don't make cat food. They make really good food. Sorry. I'm trying to tell my cat that her food's bad, but it is. So, stayclassymeats.com. You go there and you use the promo code Ellis, and you're doing everybody a favor. It helps the show. It makes us look cooler. Stay Classy Meats gives you a top quality product. As I said, have been using it for years without you. I didn't tell you. They didn't care that I told you. I got it through MMA and they started giving me meats, and I've never looked back. I love Stay Classy Meats. If they kick me off the team, I'll be ordering it, and my promo code won't work when I get kicked off. But right now, as it stands, stayclassymeats.com, promo code Ellis. Jason Ellis here, reminding you about Onnit. Onnit.com/Ellis gets you the sweet discount. Onnit have supported us from the get-go. Onnit were the people that told me I should get into podcasting, and I didn't listen to them. Well, now I'm listening. I really, really am listening, and you all need to listen too. You need to go to Onnit.com, but if you type in Onnit.com/Ellis, it gets you a sweet deal and it helps me out. But we're talking about you can't go to a gym. You get discounts on kettlebells, on the maces, on the bats, all these things that I've figured out how to use in my backyard. They give you a proper workout. They have bench presses, and I didn't even know this. You can put kettlebells on your bar, and you can get more weights. My Catherine taught me that. But there's battle ropes, there's supplements. I use Alpha Brain every day, sometimes on the weekend when I prefer to feel lazy and stupid. I, on purpose, don't take them because that's how much I notice. Yes, sometimes I like to just, okay? But when I'm using Alpha Brain. Alpha Brain Instant they have as well. You pour it in a bottle of water and you're kicking ass. And then Shroom Tech, I only use Shroom Tech when I'm in shape to go to the gym because I'm worried that this will get me too motivated and I will be too sore the next day to like walk. This is how good this stuff works. 4 years, all the time, haven't stopped, swear by it. Jason Ellis, Onnit, Shroom Tech, Alpha Brain, they friggin' work. And they've got sweet t-shirts. And they get made of bamboo or something. I don't know how they do it, but they get the best t-shirts. They get best exercise pants. All the things they make are the best, top quality of its kind. So I endorse them 1,000%. Onnit.com / Ellis. Thank you.
So
Sorry, Kevin. Who was it's the one that had a lot of kids with that chunky guy? They had a TV show.
John and Kate +8.
Yep, she's the one to me the Karen blonde that with the hair and short in the back. She is the
she's Patient Zero
founder. Yes,
Kate Goslin. Yeah.
When I first met you guys about 10 years ago, for I'd say 3 years, you were like dead set on the fact that I was balding.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm telling you, I just have the fucking thinnest, finest hair. I'm not balding. It's just super fine.
Yeah.
And
you know what you look like? You look like a guy that goes bald who isn't going bald, but he's just so old that the hair has thinned.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that you knew in his heyday had the fucking thickest mane of all time. But because he's 80, there's like some thinning aspects to his full head of hair.
Yeah, that's the funny. My dad is 80, and
that's what I was gonna say. I haven't seen your dad, but the way you explain it sounds like he has the same hair as Kevin.
If my dad was 30, he's bald, and he's 80, he has a full head of hair. That's the way that works.
You know who I see is, and I hate to do it because I love him to
Jim
death,
Florentine.
but Schwarzenegger. Like he's got that point now because his hair is spiky.
He cheats.
He does.
Yeah, he has days where you can see through it and it's very thin, and then he has stuff where he adds the powder or whatever thing that they do. I remember when I did Mall Cop when I was in that movie, and Kevin James totally did the fucking and made
you sprinkle the powder on?
Yeah, like you in the movie you can't, but when you're standing there, you can see that his head's been spray painted.
I'd like to try that because here, like I've bounced
we could get that.
Yeah, probably.
We could do that on the show. Now that we're on video,
I'm into it.
I would like to see that. Oh, dude, sorry, but Mad Child. I don't know if I.
Oops.
Well, I don't know.
I haven't seen him in a while.
He showed me. He watch this. I think he was trying to convince me to come back. And I'm like, dude, it's over for me. And he's like, no, I'm like, dude, get this stuff. And I'm like, oh, wow, did not know you did that. But I feel like,
look, I'll try it again. I'll try it. But I've, bounced from horrible hairstyle to horrible hairstyle at every phase of my life.
Yeah.
And it all looks bad because of how fine my hair is. Like when I grow my hair out long, like I had hair down to my chest at one point. And my hair is so fine that it lays flat. It's like it's fucking super glued, mashed to my head.
Yeah.
When I keep it short and a little bit spiky, you can see my scalp because I just don't have thick enough fucking hair for it. And now I just look like a meth dealer.
Your hair you need to have the ultimate haircut for you. You would need maintenance, and that's a thing that you don't do. Your haircut would need to be almost short, but not too short so you can't see through it. But you would have a haircut where in a week, it's going to start to look like shit. You're not a guy that's like at the bar. Like I got friend, like, Brian that was at, you didn't go to Ellis Mania, but Brian, the dragon tattoo that fought Eddie, my friend, big tall Asian guy.
Yep.
He goes to the barber like fucking every Tuesday and gets his shit tied because I'm pretty sure, because he's an Asian guy, I'm pretty sure if he doesn't, then he has thin hair. So if you don't shape it within a week, it just goes frang, and you look dirty, like you look kind of a little bit,
like a little mangy,
a little bit mangy. I had the same when I had hair. I had the same thing, dude. Because my hair would go. I'd shave it all the time, and then it would do I would call it a light bulb because it would just reach for the stars, all directions.
In all directions.
Yeah. So the side would be this fucking embarrassing. I almost had an afro of dead straight hair. Because it would just go ding, like straight. So I had like a fucking, and I would try to wear hats. I would wear it because before gel, because I was young and didn't know, or I'm not putting that shit in. I would wear a beanie, and then I'd take the beanie off, and my hair would be stuck to my head until like an hour or two later, where it would frizz out again. But if I maintain high and tights, but it had to be my hair grows fast too. So if I didn't tighten it every week. Within a week, even now, dude, my hair grows so fast on my fucking face and on my neck and shit now. It's just so awesome. Just fighting back hair and fucking like ear hair. Just one coming out. I'm like, what? Good size.
Do you know what I have? It's not inside the ear. I'm getting them on the outside.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Not the lobe, whatever you call the part that's
fucking
above
top,
the lobe,
like a fucking.
Oh, the bum fluff?
Dude, I ain't got bum fluff.
It's like an antenna.
Yes.
What?
Okay. Yeah. Wait. It's coming. You like 3 years off, dude. You're gonna have you'll be in the mirror and you go, what the fuck? My biggest fear. I always tell Katie. Certainly, when you get to like 70, depending on who you are, fuck off. Like I'll put a ponytail in my ear, but I don't want to be hanging out with you guys or at a function and I've got a giant hair coming off my ear that I missed. I want my wife to be like, hey, you got to get that.
Yep.
And I'm like, can you help me get that? Because I really don't want to go out in public with, I know people don't care, but I've seen people where I'm talking to them and I see a neck hair coming out of the back of their T-shirt from the sun. And I'm like, oh my God. I don't know why.
How do you live with yourself?
That's what I think. I've thought that. How does this person live with themselves?
I've reached the point where I'm plucking tarantula legs out of my nose. Like something will be tickling me and I'm like, what the fuck? And I go into the mirror and I pull my nose up, do the pig nose, and a tarantula leg just flops out.
Dude, my favorite thing, Katie gets mad at me for doing it, but I'll like fucking get right up in there and then I'll like see how many I can get. And, I got to have a nail and I usually trim my nails too much to get a hold of them. But if I have a nail, then I can get, but I trim them all. So it's very rare. But if I do it, it's one of my favorite things to do. If I'm like, I've got myself like 17 right now. And I'm like,
Steady.
Feels good. Yeah, it feels good.
It's like a prize.
It's like freedom.
Should we talk about what we're going to do before we do it? Yeah,
because we've only got 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
So those of you who have listened to the Jason Ellis show know that we've been in this for 15 years, and there's been people on the show that have come and gone, and now we're going to talk to easily the two biggest people that have come and gone on the show. We obviously had our falling outs. Since I got fired, I talked to Josh, so has Tully, but we've never talked to Christian. Obviously, Christian reached out to me when he heard the news that I got fired.
So I want to know about that. Josh was one of the almost original co-hosts of the show, a.k.a. Raw Dog. He was around for a while. He was the first assistant
or whatever.
He was an intern, wasn't he?
Yeah, first intern we had.
And then he actually became a hired person on the show. And he was also, so this is also a Taint Stick and Death Die reunion that we're about to do, because they were, in addition to being on-air personalities on the show, the four of us had a band. So Christian, yes, as you mentioned, I've had a little bit of contact with Josh over the years. Christian, I've had none since Death Die broke up. So tell me a little bit about him reaching out to you.
Well, you know how I am, Michael. A bit punchy, but it was a bit of a long message, and one part was a little bit like, how's it feel? you know, and I'm like, well, it's fair, you know.
Yeah.
How's my dick taste? He didn't say that, but he kind of did. Like he got a little one in there. He's like, I got to do it. I'm like, you did, fair enough. It's weird. I'm not mad at anybody. I was already kind of way past it a few years ago where I was like, man, it's sad that you two can't patch it up because I'm sick of people asking me about that. I'm like, man, we squashed that because we can't fucking tolerate each other. It's fucking sad.
Mm-hmm.
But I never thought that we'd actually get past it because I was like, he's never going to reach out. But when he did, there was, you know, the firing thing. And I feel like that there's been times back and forth where he did those emails. Sorry, he did the Facebook thing about how bad of a person I am. And I'm like, man, not entirely true. Fuck you. Like, that's my reaction. Instead of trying to squash it, I was like, fuck you, dude. Like, you're going to tell everybody a bunch of shit that isn't true? That's fucked up, man. But instead of, it was more about my part in the bit that he didn't like. And in the end, through the band stuff and the attitude towards each other, yeah, I didn't want to work with him anymore. And I told everybody that I didn't want to work with him anymore. And I tried to stay away from him as much as possible. But at the end of the day, I did not get you fired. But when I heard you were getting fired, this is the thing I didn't realize until I was even writing the email. It's like, when I heard that you were getting fired, I made no efforts at all to say you should keep him. Mm-hmm. And when I think about it now, that's kind of a bit of a death sentence. Wait, is he on there right now? Hello, Christian.
It's muted.
Hello?
Oh, no, it's not now.
No,
I
wait.
hear him.
Hold on.
Oh, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
This is our first Zoom date.
Yeah.
Not hearing you, dicks.
Fuck. Wait a minute. It's
Now
going to
I'm
work
hearing
out.
you.
Do you hear it?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
yes.
All right.
All three dicks? Great.
How are you, dude?
3 dicks. I'm trapped in my apartment in COVID. It's great. How are you?
I'm
like the studio.
Thank you. Yeah. I know that you've got like a thing. You got to watch out for COVID more than the average bear. Is it okay to talk about that or no? Because I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I will advise everybody not to vape marijuana. Yeah, I got a bad lung infection from marijuana vaping.
Whoa.
And how do you get rid of that?
You don't.
What? What do you mean?
Yeah, you don't. It's just sort of like you hope that your body's going to heal from it and you'll be okay. But you don't get COVID. That's the first thing you don't do.
But wait a minute. Your lung will heal.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Okay.
It's bad.
When you say a while, like years?
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh, okay. I remember smoking weed with you several times, Christian, and I know that you won't find this offensive, but you're fucking lightweight. You've always been like, you'll have a toke and you're like, fuck, easy, dude. Like you got that thing stuck to your face.
Yeah.
What did you, since we've not hung out with each other, did you become like a heavy hitting pot smoker or?
Yeah, to get over my firing, I became addicted to marijuana.
He took to the vape pen.
Yeah. It was either that or the needle, and I decided that the vape pen was way less intrusive.
That was a good call for sure.
It's the way more lit way to go.
But
Right?
I was definitely vaping 8 hours a day.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, no, it was bad.
So what was the first time where you're like, ooh, there might be a problem with my lungs? Like, what was the sensation?
I felt like I was suffocating, and I ended up going to the emergency room.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, they put me on like a full thing.
I've never heard
Wait.
all the stories. This is a real live person who's saying it. I've heard this shit before, but never believed it.
Yeah, just scroll back on my Instagram like 2 years. There's me with like the thing on my face, just breathing in all this stuff. Yeah, it's awful. I felt like I was dying.
That answers my question. So this is before going to the hospital and having a ventilator became fashionable.
Yeah. I was way ahead of the curve.
I see.
Nice.
Good.
I just feel like everyone's really bogarting my style at this point. It's a little lame.
Bunch of
Posers.
copycats.
It's the price you pay for setting trends. So how did it, no, really, how do you go from being somebody who would only do it sparingly and a little bit when you did it because you couldn't handle it? I do it even less than that. So I can totally understand to it becoming a thing that you do frequently and then it becoming like a lifestyle. What's the trajectory on that? Why does that happen?
Well, once I discovered vape pens and then I was getting them for free from a friend of mine who had a company that was making them. And I realized that one of the things about One of the things about smoking weed is that when you smoke a joint, you tend to smoke a couple hits of it and then you put it down and then you go back to it a couple minutes later. Whereas with a vape pen, you could just sort of feed it. So I would do one hit and then 10 minutes later do another hit. And the thing was that it really helped me with my social anxiety and my Asperger's. It made me feel really it was like a medicine. Like I
have a question. Hello, Josh. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Josh Richmond.
Hi, guys.
Oh, boy, look at it.
This is fucking super weird right now, you guys. This is fucking weird.
This makes me happy.
Right?
The last 7 years never happened.
Yeah. No,
That's how I felt when I got fired that day.
Yeah, it felt like 14.
It's like it never happened.
Guys, I got an idea for a song. Let me run it past you.
Oh man, I'm glad you got that one out of the way.
Christian, I haven't seen you with it either. I like the beard. It's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. This is aging.
Yeah, you guys look good, man. You guys did all right. I see you put on a few pounds, Josh, and it kind of suits you, dude. You look tougher.
A little bit, yeah.
Do you lift weight? I didn't say you were fat, man. Can we not do this? I didn't say you were fat.
TikTok with you put on a few pounds.
But I said it was in a good way. You look like you got bigger shoulders and shit. Fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
I was just thinking it looks like you have excellent board games. It makes you feel any better.
I do have excellent board games.
Wow.
Have you been playing a lot of board games, Josh, in the pandemic?
I have been playing 0 board games because I haven't left my house and nobody's been in my house. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're doing that.
Yeah.
I noticed, Christian, you don't know this, but I did a podcast the other day where I thought it was a meeting with SiriusXM and they were going to pitch me their podcast offer after firing me. But I got it mistaken and it was a SiriusXM show that was going to talk to me. And then as I realized, oh, okay, this is going to be a radio interview. Cool. This motherfucker just pops up on the screen out of nowhere, flexing in the camera. And I'm like, who the fuck knows Josh Richmond and how is he in my face? And it was like the same day I said to Tully, are you going to reach out to Josh or am I? Because I already talked to Christian and I was just telling the guys about your email and how you reached out. And I was explaining to Kevin, you did say in the nicest way possible, you got fired too, ha. But then the rest of it, and it was dessert. I tried to explain to these guys that it wasn't suck on that. It was got to do it because fuck you. And
It was a gentle dunk.
Fucking fair. It's fucking fair. It's fucking fair. I'm standing there, not looking where the ball's going, and you dunked on me. That's how it goes.
It's almost like empathizing. It's like I know how it feels to be in that position, and I get it, and I feel you.
I thought it was like 2/10 fuck you, 8/10 not fuck you. That's what I want with
1,000. That's exactly what I felt, and it was all justified. And I felt like it was at a time. Even I was telling Tully, even before I was fired, I was already kind of. I figured that you and I would be impossible to squash that, because I thought that what you thought I had done was not exactly true. And I'm not going to admit to a thing that I didn't do. So I thought that there was never a way around it. But then as I was emailing you back and I was telling these guys right before you came on, there was a time there where they said, we're firing Christian. And I didn't say shit. And when I think about it now, I was right before you got on. If I cared, I could have said something. Same with Josh. I could have said, you know what? Let's try to fucking squash all this. But instead I was like, fuck you guys. We're fucking nightmare. Good riddance. And I will never think about you for as long as I live is what I decided to do to make it easier for my existence. But after years of thinking about it, before I got fired, I swear, before I got fired, asked people that I've mentioned to you, I've mentioned your name more than once where I feel bad. I remember you like hanging out with Devin and helping her go down a slide. Like we were fucking family, man. Like I love you guys. Like if you never speak to me again, I still have love for both of you. I always will. And the band is one of the greatest experiences of my life. Like that is a thing that I will cherish for the rest of my life. And I hate that you and Tully got into it so bad that there is no death, die. It doesn't exist to anybody. The fucking amount of people are, how do you get it? I'm like, dude, I'm not even going to answer you. I'm just going to try and, as I said before, forget about it. Just black it out like it didn't even happen. But the older I get, the wiser I get, the more I realize my responsibility in all this and how I handled it incorrectly several times. I've tried to learn. I'm in therapy. I'm doing a lot of stuff to try to fix myself. And in that process, I've realized that I burned a lot of bridges, and I'm very sorry for the way that I treated both of you. My attitude towards you guys, everybody back then was inappropriate, to say the least. But I gotta, spiel on about my past and my, fuck off. Like I'm a man, and I fucked up, and I handled everything terribly, and I'm really sorry for that. And I want you both to know I'm very, very sorry for that, regardless of where we go from here. If you never want to speak to me again, fair enough. But I love you guys, man, and I really appreciate all the things that you did for us.
That too, and truly, it's amazing how time heals a lot of this stuff. And hearing a lot of the news, honestly, about the end of the Ellis show stays on Sirius and stuff recently, and seeing fans reach out. They even reached out to me a little bit. It's amazing how a lot of the there was obviously bad shit that happened, but it's amazing how a lot of the bad shit kind of fades out of your memory. And when you think about stuff, you just kind of think about a lot of the crazy shit we were able to do and the fun stuff and to get away with the band is an amazing memory to me. Was me living out a kind of a rock star fantasy I never thought I'd get to do in any capacity.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
Same here.
let's never forget Super Cat, the Raw Dog Super Cat.
Oh my God, yeah.
At the
fucking, we did that Sugar Ray cover.
When we did Fly at the and Mark McGrath's face when he was like, I can't believe you assholes are going to get me to do this fucking song, and then just turned around and sold it like nobody's business. It was fucking outrageous.
I have oh, look. And look, he still got it. I have audio, pro audio of that entire Roxy show. I don't know how or why I have it, but I have
probably
front to back.
Probably Klein just ran the fucking recorder for us on that shit. I don't want to
post that.
So Jason, I sincerely, I'm grateful. Thank you for your apology, because I know for somebody like you, especially, an apology is a difficult thing to do. And I think it's testament to your work on yourself that you're capable of that. So thank you for that. As I said in my email, just a little bit fuck you. But at the same point, but honestly, and the thing that, the reason I reached out to you was because when I somebody let me know that it had happened, and I went and I watched your video, and I realized that you were, genuinely, completely blindsided by it, and that you had no fucking clue. And at moments like that, I think it was, it's important to put bullshit aside and go, yeah, man, fuck that company and fuck those people, because you were no more a priority than Josh was or I was. They made you feel that way because that's how they get you. And you're, when you looked that surprised and that hurt and that astounded at what happened to you, I think at that point is when people need, more support than your ego should stop you from giving, if that makes any sense. Could we just rectify a small thing for a bunch of dickbags on fucking Reddit?
Oh, man. Why would you do Reddit to yourself? I learned years ago, don't go to Reddit. Oh, my God, they'll kill you.
Yeah, no,
go ahead. Oh, now you're going to put Reddit in my mind, Christian. No.
Dragging me into
I've been ducking Reddit for fucking centuries. Shit.
I just want to clear up, for the record, I am not standing in the way of Death, Die being on fucking iTunes, man.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. I want this conversation to happen, because to me, I've only heard one side of it, and that's Tully's side, where you two could not see eye to eye in this, and you decided that you would rather end the whole thing than be in any sort of business with each other.
I think I can clarify this. Christian, you indicated to me, if I recall, a lot has happened since then. I don't even pretend to remember all this 100%, that you no longer wish to be on the actual business entity legally that Death, Die was.
Yeah, and that was a bad idea.
And at that point, it was actually, we had to jump through any number of hoops, as you may recall. There's crazy things when you set up a business. You need to post a thing in a newspaper 4 weeks in a row.
Bananas.
You need to do a lot of things to establish a business. Yeah. And you would have taken us under the minimum number of partners that we needed to be in whatever kind of business we were in. So basically, we would need to dissolve the business and start it over again and go through the whole thing And at that point, that I was making like a couple $100 a month. And I just said,
exactly.
it's just quite a bit
Wasn't worth
easier to take the thing down than to go through all that stuff, because I'm not really interested in having it around anyway, given the whole feeling around the project at that time. So it was accurate in a way that it wasn't out because of you, but it wasn't like you were like, fuck that. Take it down. Take it down in my name. It was not accurate at all either. Yeah.
It was simply like dissolve the business agreement, because I don't think it's a good idea for me to not be at Sirius, for you guys to be at Sirius, and there to be a business entity that ties the two of us together.
Right.
Considering that I'm currently trying to sue Sirius, which is what I was doing at the time.
How'd that work out?
It cost me a lot of money to find out that you can't sue a multinational conglomerate that has a fucking in-house counsel.
Ooh, I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was a fucking nightmare.
You know what? Now
I actually did ask Apple never to put Death Die on iTunes, so I'm sorry about that.
Damn it, Josh.
What'd you do?
Yeah.
Oh, you fucking
He was
motherfucker.
Reddit the whole time.
That's what your last name really is.
Josh Reddit?
Damn it.
Yeah.
Fucking Reddit.
You son of a bitch.
It's not nearly as Jewish sounding.
It was Reddit Stein when they got here.
Yeah, man. I certainly, I think that I'm kind of bummed that the music isn't available for people. I'm really bummed.
That's what I was going to say, because you mentioned the money thing. Like, I don't give a fuck about the money thing. It was we're a fucking radio show that did like 4 albums that were as good as some of these people that have kids have their tattoo of their band logo on them. And I'm like, we're better than you, dude. And we're dickheads.
It's crazy how much money we made from that to start with. Did you guys know I got in tax trouble because of that money? Like the first year of Taint Stick?
Oh, I believe it.
Because I got a check for like $12,000 or something that year. And I was like, holy shit, free money. I'm just going to I don't have to go on a separate form to pay it back. Really,
you have to declare that.
Yeah. Taxes, Josh. Yeah, taxes.
Yeah. It was a big learning
game.
Yeah. Unless you're like the church, you got to pay them.
It doesn't sound like Death I got you in tax trouble so much as you didn't know people have to pay taxes.
There's that one. Yep. You gotta.
Yeah. That won't stand up in a court of law.
Yeah.
Well, and look,
you may as well sue Sirius again.
You guys know, for what it's worth, I've never been withholding this stuff. I actually put together like a fun zip file that I think even includes that Roxy concert. And anybody who's asked me for it, I even tweeted about it a couple of years ago. Anybody who's asked me for it,
nice.
I've been freely giving the music away to people. And I'm absolutely happy to post that somewhere where people can just have it. There's no money in the catalog anyway. It's more about people being able to get it. So I had that ready to go on my computer. I give it away anytime anybody asks me for it.
I'm sure Zinger is still fucking milking as many nickels as he can.
Oh, dude, you can get, I don't know if you guys know this, but you can buy Taint Stick and skateboards.
Cheap.
Yeah. And Taint Stick t-shirts with all our faces on it. And I don't know who's distributing that. Do you? It's pretty fucking funny. A fan sent me the link and was like, check out, you can still get Taint Stick shit. I'm like, wait,
yeah.
Whatever.
Good news, guys. We're on merchbar.com.
Fucking Zinger.
My favorite Zinger was when, they had that fucking bullshit about, hey, you guys can always come and look at the books. You can always see what we're doing. I was like, all right, I want to see the books. And he didn't realize I'd worked at a record label. So he showed me the books. And at the end of it, I went through each line and I was like, why the fuck is this here? Why the fuck is this here? And eventually he was like, I think this meeting needs to end. I have things to do. And I was like, oh, do you?
Wow. See, that's so funny.
They spent like 20 grand on ads when we told them not to pay anything for advertising.
That's the one thing I do recall saying.
Yeah.
I don't need ads. I'm the ad.
Yeah. So they had a line item that was like $20,000 of print ads. And I know there was no fucking way they spent $20,000 on print ads.
No, maybe $20.
Yeah, so that went straight into the BMW fund for fucking Zinger.
No, I think we were on the front page of the Wall Street Journal.
Dude, you add things up in the most painful way. Do you know that? Like, you see it in the most, like, to me, when I got fired from Sirius, I'm like, okay, we had Machine Gun Kelly booked to do, I was in the middle of doing, we were going to go back to Sirius XM for an exclusive COVID-tested Machine Gun Kelly interview and then leave the building again because no one's allowed to go in the building. So I'm thinking, I'm the guy that pulls Machine Gun Kelly. Everyone's excited about it. My contract's up. Nothing could ever be more secure. Why book Machine Gun Kelly if you're going to fire me? Well, turns out they didn't reply to the email to Machine Gun Kelly's people because they knew that they were going to fire me, and I didn't know any of that. And I could be like, this guy did this guy did that. I remembered all the people that I were like on the way through that were like, fuck you. And I'm like, really? Fuck me? Like, I'm doing a great job. Why slow me down? And I thought, I could do this, I could do that, I could call you. Scott Greenstein called me and was like, well, really sorry. You know, there was a conversation that I was going to have with him about all the fuckery today, to right now. And instead I was like, yeah, man, thanks. Because I don't need to get you back, man. Like I as a person that spent a lot of time getting people back for fucking with me, for dwelling on, man, I can't believe I look like a fucking idiot to that guy. And then I would sit there, fuck, he made me look like a fucking idiot way after the day that happened. And I was stewing and I'm boiling and I'm losing sleep. And I just want to be happy. I fucking almost died. I've been in the hospital a couple of times with heart conditions since I've seen you guys. And there's a couple of times where I'm on that beeper thing and I'm like, this is it. Like, this is all over right now. And what do I care about? I'm angry about Christian banging my Porsche door or something. You got to be fucking shitting me, you child. Like, get the fuck over it. To me, I see you hanging out with Devin going down the slide, and I knew that was for no reason, but you're my friend, and it's Ellis's kid, and I love Ellis. I love Ellis's kid.
She was bored shitless at a video shoot. I was like, so am I. Let's go fucking hang out on the slide.
Man, is that apple juice?
Yeah, I just realized she was at a Taint Stick video. Shit.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's all fun back to me.
She and I went and smoked cigarettes in the fucking in the parking lot.
Yeah, I think that was the first time she vaped.
I told I'll freak you guys out. I talked to her yesterday about. She's like, "Can I get a stick and poke tattoo?" And I was like, "Yeah, you can get a stick and poke tattoo, and then I'll go to that guy's house and murder him, kill him, for sure, kill him, go to jail, and yeah, you can have a sweet stick and poke. Sound like a good deal?" That's what I'm dealing with right now. Like, I saw she got a heart. She scratched into the side of her leg.
Oh no.
I'm like, you can get. My deal is you can get a tattoo when you're 17, but it has to be approved by me and my tattooist, and because she wants to keep pushing it. My son doesn't want to be me; he wants to be his mum, so he might be all right. But my daughter, holy shit, dude.
Not so into the slide.
My mom had a rule that I could not get a tattoo till I was 18, but my mom was not covered in tattoos, and I might have taken it slightly differently than she was.
Okay, fucker.
I didn't want to bring that up, but it seems a little obvious to everybody else in the room, champ.
Okay, fuck faces. I didn't get a tattoo until I was 19, so suck on that butt. Okay? No lie. That's where I told her. So I didn't get illegal tattoos. And here's the other one. Her mom has some of the shittiest tattoos ever. And she got them when she was 16. And that was the other argument. I said, here's my point. Your mom has tattoos on her right now that she wears certain clothing that covers it in front of certain people because she's ashamed of those tattoos because they are embarrassing.
You know what you should show Devin the evil sperm tattoo on my leg and be like, this idiot got this when he was 19. Don't you want to wait until your brain fully develops and you can make
Kevin could be a one-man tattoo scared straight. Just send him to high school. And then I wound up with cum on my leg.
What, Josh?
17, you don't have taste yet. So I think it's reasonable to say you can't do a permanent thing to your body.
Yeah. I got to the point where, because she loves to argue, where I was like, you can't have sex because you don't know what you're doing, and you can't have a tattoo because you don't know what you're doing. And she's like, how can you say that those are ew, why would you even and I'm like, because it's the same thing. She's like, no, it's not. I'm like, it's permanent. Forever, you will remember it. Do you want to do that to yourself? And then there was just the threats. In the end, it goes to, you'll have no phone. And we win.
How old is she now?
15.
Oh, it's terrifying. Holy fuck.
Yeah, she's tall.
That's the other thing. Time is going so rapidly.
She has huge tits, Christian, and it's
Jesus Christ,
super offensive. They're always jiggling in front of me. I'm like, God, what? Because she hangs out with boys. I'm like, man, this is. Yeah, I'm gonna punch someone. I know it's gonna happen. I'm gonna punch a dude so hard.
It is also part of your karmic debt. That's how the great pumpkin works it. You know what I'm saying? You got that as a firstborn. Well done.
We had
Pumpkin.
we had a conversation about this very topic, and Christian, you were definitely in the room when we were at not the middle studio, the dentist office one.
Yeah.
About when Jason met Devin's first boyfriend. We were calling him T2.
Yeah.
And he's calling Metallica a classic rock band. Yeah, I like classic rock. And how these are all things that were destined to be in your future.
That's happening. That's happening. For sure, she has told her friends that her father is into classic rock. For sure.
It's terrible.
No, because she listens to hip hop. She listens to hip hop that I don't get. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And they're like,
mumble rap.
yeah, they're like some little angry lesbian girl that just talks about her snatch all day. And I'm like, man.
She might tell people you were in a classic rock band.
No, it does. A classic rock cover band. Like, you're not even like doing your own shit.
Hey, Josh, did you get married? Someone told me you got married. Is that true?
No, where did you hear that?
Twitter.
Jesus.
Twitter kept saying
Reddit.
Josh got married. Oh, yeah, Reddit. Yeah.
Reddit's good for that.
I am not married.
Wow.
Do you have a cat?
I do have a cat. That part's true.
So does that mean you're not single then, right?
I am a single guy with a cat.
Are you really? And
Yes.
I guess this is being offensive, but you take care of a cat by yourself. Sorry.
Yeah,
Jason,
You do the kitty litter.
I do the kitty litter. And I give him food and snacks, and he's got all sorts of toys.
Aw.
His name's Minnie. He's a great cat.
Grow up, Jason. Men can be cat women too.
Oh man, hey, he's a cute cat. I saw a photo of it. I just assumed. Look,
No. I was actually there was a brief period during this quarantine period where I was dating a little bit, but it is back to single status.
Oh, okay. So you're still going through the trenches of that shit then.
It's true.
You're not picking the same kind of women over and over again, are you, Josh?
I don't think I am, but I don't know. We all have our patterns.
Probably.
Wait, so did that mean yes? That it's kind of similar? You're doing things that are.
I don't know. I mean, I'm growing and changing every day, but I could also look back and be like, yeah, there's definitely patterns to people I've picked. I think that's true of everybody.
I gotta tell you, dude, and I can tell Christian's already on it as well. From therapy, for me, there's 3 in a row where I dated the same people with the same eventual outcome, where I realized that you guys are both gonna laugh, but wait a minute, this might be my fault.
Wow.
It took 3 women to like yell the same thing at me, and I was like, whoa, that's almost exactly how the last one ended. Could it? No, it could not be me. It's totally me. I totally picked people for the wrong reasons because I wasn't ready to live by myself and find out who I am. I just wanted to, get a mummy to take care of me. Therapy broke me down real quick. That's real quick. If I had to do it in a nutshell, I needed a mummy, and now I'm a big boy, and I don't want any mummies.
Yeah, no, that's usually how that goes, to be honest with you. That's not, unfortunately, we're such fucking cliches. That's not even a fucking news flash.
It's just crazy how long it takes, I
know, right?
You'd think that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you've got a therapist who's fucking doing work with you. I mean, that's been the hardest part for me, is I've always been smarter than my therapists.
Okay, you know what? I thought that was the therapist before the one that I have now. That is how I left therapy, because she said something to me where I went, oh, I'm smarter than you. Yeah, man, what the fuck? And when I think I'm smarter than you, man, you really drop. Like you fucking. I'm like, man, I gave this person money as a fucking moron in front of me. So yeah, I was over it until it was Benji and Joel. Joel said he had a therapist that changed his life, and that was when I was hanging out with Benji a lot, and I was really heavily influenced by them. And then I broke up with Katie, who is my wife now, the one time we broke up, and she said that shit. And that's when I went, fuck it.
There you go.
I'm going to therapy, and I called that guy and went in there the day after, and ever since then, that was what got my foot back in the door too. Like, I think I wrote her a big note and shit and put it in her car. I was like, I'm going to that therapist. And then I was able to get a lunch date. And now I'm fucking her hard, you guys. Woo! I won.
Yeah. Well done.
I'm not in therapy right now, but I mean, I was for a few years, and I think I found that I've had that feeling of like, oh, I know what you're trying to say to me, and I can outsmart that, and like I can feel like I'm smarter than you in this moment. And then another year of therapy passes, and you realize, no, I was wrong that entire time. I feel like think you're outsmarting a person and realize you're not actually outsmarting them, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot of different things, and I don't have a lot of experience in therapy, but sometimes you can be smarter than them, but they just have enough training. You know, like you might be smarter than your car mechanic, but if they specifically know techniques for fixing your car, that's one thing.
Right.
That having been said, I have definitely spoken to mental health professionals who talk about at least their colleagues as occasionally like being on their iPad doing something unradated to the session while they're talking to somebody.
Ooh.
That's not all of them, but they're definitely out there as well.
I mean, they're basically they're running a routine. They have being in training as a therapist. It's just like, I know exactly how to respond to this question with this question. And like everything, it just sort of gets automated and you can do it on autopilot.
I think the easiest thing for therapy is to be really upfront and open, because the more they can get a read on who you really are, the sooner they can get to business. Because to me, once my therapist realized what I am, what I'm all about, what my childhood damage had made me into, then he could explain it to me in layman terms. And it was just like turning a light on. Like there was a couple of conversations where it was, isn't that interesting, Jason? As in like, think about what you just said. Think about, and I would, several times I'd go, oh,
right.
Oh my God. And it would be such a searing moment that from that day on, I knew, for instance, there was times, one of the biggest ones was in my gay encounters, which is, I'd like to touch on that for a second, Josh. Remember when we were driving down the road once, leaving the show, going to get a sandwich at M Cafe, and I said I was gay and you fucking laughed it off?
You brought this up to Matt and Dave, and I don't remember this exact moment. I think it stuck harder for you than it did for me.
Yeah, because it was a really big deal that I'd said that I was gay to you. So yeah, it was a big moment.
Yeah, that's strange. Somebody laughed at that, and then that stuck.
I don't remember laughing.
You didn't laugh at it. You like made a kind of a noise to move like, haha, whatever. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't, you didn't go, you fucking homo. It wasn't like that.
Pull over, I'll just get out right
here. It was more like you were just like, you're so stupid, you know? You didn't.
I was probably mad at you and in my own head, and it didn't even register with me.
It's great to know that you were just constantly mad at me. I think we were friends at this point, but anyway, I mean, we were in a car together, dude. But
I don't recall this incident at all, but I'm pretty sure I was pissed at you.
I
know. Shit, dude.
Jason, you should understand that prior to this, most of our friendships with you were built on 50% of being mad at you.
Oh my God, dude!
It like started at 50%, and then it kind of went up like one of those thermometers outside a fire station that's telling.
I promised I wouldn't make any excuses today, but I had I'm very passionate. I didn't know. I got damage in my brain. I'm sorry. Reacted fucking incorrectly.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, well, that was the thing that was really annoying about it, is that I don't think you understand that every single person who's part of this intervention, by the way, this is just a long game to get into an intervention. We had serious fire you for your own good. It was that, we all knew that you were a fucking disaster. And every single person involved in your life, like when you went away and we had to finish the big fucking Megaboat record without you, we knew that that's what we had to do. And we were like, okay, we got to finish this record. So when he comes out, we're good to go on this. And then it came out, and then you immediately hated it because we had worked on it without you.
Yep. I believe that.
It's crazy that Big Fucking Megaboat
That's how that happened.
was kind of some kind of monstery. It was a little, it really was our Death Magnetic in many ways.
Yeah.
God, to have a documentary of the Big Fucking Megaboat sessions and to be able to rewatch that.
I mean, it was outrageous, man. Like, we were all like, okay, we got to pull together and build this so that when he comes out, we've got this fucking thing and we can go. And you came out and basically were like, well, I want nothing to do with that fucking record. We're all moving on. And we were like, no, but it's fucking amazing. Like, what are you talking about? And then it never, got to really see its light of day, unfortunately. I mean, I think that is much as it's ridiculous that we have a catalog, I do think that like each of the records got so much fucking better to the point where Big Fucking Megaboat was amazing. And then you hated it because you hadn't been involved. And we were like, we were doing it for you, champ. You're on every single fucking song that we, So that was kind of, part of the issue as we moved forward was we all knew that you were fucking dealing with traumas that none of us have had to deal with. I mean, everybody in this fucking
It doesn't make it fair.
It doesn't make it fair, but everybody in this motley crew of douchebags has damage. Like that's why we all clicked together. And you are the most, you're the
most damaged.
Alpha of you're the most alpha of all of us. And you also have compensatory damage. But we understood it. I mean, like the amount of times that we sat in this room when you were going through the fucking divorce, high and fucking like not working, but just talking about real shit that people didn't get to see. I mean, there was like a genuine, we were all part of something. I'm going to tell everybody, we were the Wu-Tang Clan of radio, as far as I'm concerned. And we reached such a fucking high point, but also we knew that we were getting zero help. Remember when we went back to New York for our first fucking that show that we did, and you had a book in the New York Times bestseller list. We were on the fucking Billboard charts, and we walked into crickets at fucking Sirius. And we were like, what other radio station and what other radio show has all of, and we're playing a sold out show tonight. And instead of walking in there to fucking confetti cannons, we walked into like crushing fucking silence.
Yeah, man, those ones don't even. Yeah, I've got so used to that I don't
Right.
like. If anybody freaked out,
that didn't occur to me.
Yeah, that
I
would
can honestly say that.
I wasn't waiting for a confetti cannon, honestly.
Yeah.
Like but any other place would have been like, holy shit, dude, like this ridiculous radio show has accomplished all of this on its own with no help. Let's applaud them. Let's make this a fucking thing. And instead it was like fucking, we couldn't even get the parking validated. It was fucking insane. I was like, what the, and this was our reward for all the hard work. So none of us should be shocked that the denouement of our relationships with this fucking place. I took that as everybody at Sirius XM. If I did anything that was successful that wasn't Sirius XM, they took that as a rival. Yeah,
they hated Ellis Mania and they hated Death Thigh because it was
an insult.
I mean, remember when we first started it and I forgot his name. Greg Steele told me not to play the song anymore, and I was like, why not? And he's like, because it's not faction music, and I'm like, what? It's a Blink-182 ripoff. It's totally faction music.
So it is.
And then he was like, you got to do something that's
Well,
what was it? Because I know we did when I did the Load on Your Face, that song was directly written for him because I had to say stuff in the news.
That's right.
He said
conventional radio wisdom was that you either did parody songs, Oops, I Farted Again.
Right.
Or you did something that was topical, current, event based.
Right.
So
ripped from the headlines.
all of the things that were
a girl
headlines
is
on the
dying
Jason Ellis
with far
show,
too many legs
like
because
the
we
guy-
saw a girl in India that had 6 legs. That was,
yeah.
yeah.
No, I remember being in New York and like I hated that fucking dude so much. So I would annoy him every time I went back to New York. So I leaned into his office and I said, hey, Greg, have you heard the new fucking Death Thigh shit? It's pretty good. And he looks at me and he goes, sounds to me like somebody's spending a little too much time in the recording studio and not enough time in the on-air studio. And I was like, oh, man, you need to get fucking laid and develop a drug habit. You are a miserable, uptight fucking dickbag.
Oh, he might have done those.
He's the worst, man. I mean, that was the thing. Is like we were up against, like if you weren't Jose, nobody gave a shit about you.
Well, it got worse. Does it make you feel any better? Like the bigger we got,
nice.
There was like there's like 4 people that you might not even know that entered my life that redirected the show to wherever they fucking wanted it to go. In the end, it was like whatever wasn't in writing, they 180'd it exactly. Like when Scott and I had a deal, a verbal agreement, and then what was in writing and the things that I asked for, he's like, I can't give you that, but I promise you I won't do that. He did every single one of them. And I don't even think it was him. I don't even think he knows it happened. I think a chain of command was like, wait, Ellis, he's throwing weight around? I've got this guy. Trust me, don't worry about it. I'll break this guy. And there was just like 2 or 3 guys that were just breaking me down. It's not about you all the time. Stop. We need you. We need your studio. We need your shit. Other people need to use it. We need you. It's not about you. I'm like, man, I was never about me. This accidentally happened because everybody's listening, which also was, I think, the end of Scott and our relationship. Because I think when I said to him, I didn't want to move to this talk channel, he called me. He doesn't usually call unless it's an appointment. Yelling at me in a restaurant at Hugo's. And I remember leaving Hugo's and going out onto the street and going, calm the fuck down, dude. Like, don't talk to me like that. And then I said, you wouldn't even be calling me if it wasn't for all the people that listen to the show. And he fucking flipped. Like he fucking yelled at me and I realized I hurt his feelings. I felt the sincerity in his voice and I was like, fuck, I wasn't trying to. I really believe that the only reason you call me is because everybody is listening to the show. And it made me realize that he felt that he had done a lot of stuff for the show. And then I heard somebody else's podcast. Who's the guy that worked for Opie? He was his producer, E-Rock, I think.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me a link to him saying that he called the Jason Ellis show Scott Greenstein's little baby project. Like apparently Scott liked me and that's how the show got big. So like I was like, I don't know if that's exactly how that worked, but I get it. You got to say that. But I did think that once again, I think nobody cares. You know, I always think everyone's got bad intentions because in my childhood, it's very obvious to me now. Yeah, look, the people I loved and trusted the most were the fucking last people that I should trust. So now when people love and care for me, I'm like, what the fuck are you trying to get from me? What? Because you're not sincerely here. Nobody's sincerely here. Everybody's a fucking scam, which is not true, even to the point, and I know this is going to burn, I think Scott Greenstein wants the best for me. I really do. I think in the end, he's doing all these other things, trying to call Lars about drumsticks or going skiing, and then all of a sudden the channel has like a bunch of people on it that is not a powerful channel at all. It's lazy pants, man. You put on lazy pants people that don't care, and the show and the channel didn't do anywhere near as good as it could have. And then he gets the info that it's not doing as well as it could have, and that the company's not doing that well, and everybody that makes this number, if they're not Stern, they're gone. My only beef is Jenny McCarthy got dropped too because she makes the same amount of money as I do. They said, thanks for your fucking service. Gave her a final show. Like they just...
Oh, did they really?
Yeah. And they said it...
You didn't get a final show.
No post about thanks for everything. Nothing. Yeah. Just, I don't exist. Gone.
Well, because the problem is that Jenny McCarthy's not going to go on and burn the fucking building to the ground if she wants to fucking do that. And if I was in charge of anything that you could have a final show on, I'd probably fucking stack that deck to my advantage and be like, yeah, let's not have him say goodbye to anybody. Yeah. Let's just...
Now you got... See your angle, see their angle. Yep. No, especially on the day. Yeah. No, that would not have been a good show for them.
You know, that really is my biggest regret about all of this, obviously, aside from losing my job, is that we had this amazing 15th anniversary show lined up.
Oh, yeah.
It was going to be incredible. The performance space at Sirius is beautiful. It actually looks quite a bit like
we were doing a stunt, Christian, where I was jumping over Will in a vat of beans on a skateboard and then going through like a cutout thing of the Jason Ellis show, like blasting through into the studio. They were planning it all out. Celebrities, you name it, to fired.
Yeah.
Your new studio looks awesome, by the way. I love it.
Thank you, Josh. It's mine. This is mine.
Outrageous.
They can't take it out and put Covino and Rich logos in it. This is mine.
One of my favorite of the memories, and there are many, which is another reason that I reached out to you, was the fucking Tony Hawk ramp day, the 40th fucking, when you did the 540 for your 40th.
Oh, Jaegerbeard.
And we all Jaegerbeard was extraordinary. But with the thing that was amazing was that, and this is another example of us being there for you fucking dick, is that we all sat there for like fucking 6 hours waiting for you to pull this fucking trick. And when you finally
hey, man, it was my 40. I'm 40.
No. I'm saying that when you finally pulled it was fucking amazing.
Okay.
Like we all fucking had invested in this day to wheel you up and down that fucking ramp. And when you finally did it, it was such a fucking amazing experience for all of us who were involved in it. And I think the problem was that inside your fucking bubble, you couldn't see how much everyone around you gave a shit about what we were doing.
Yeah,
the build-up to that moment was incredible.
The build-up was amazing, and Jaegerbeard was interviewing Tony Hawk on the top of that ramp.
Hey, you were on the ramp about to fall off.
Jaegerbeard just saying Tony was every time he was like Tony, and I'm like, dude, don't go over there and talk to Tony. But fucking he did. Oh, constantly on
Josh, were you blacked out at all?
possibly the drunkest I've ever been. Like,
When he leaned on
He was
the
fucking
railing
gone.
and Tony Hawk was like, "That's not a railing." It was fucking.
That's right.
but I
Dude.
do. I mean, it was not completely blackout. I do have like some memories of that still. That was a great.
Holy shit, that was an extraordinary fucking day, and it was just like one of a number of.
That's so funny you look at it that way. To me, it was, I thought that trick was going to be way easier than it was. And I was like, oh, I'm in serious trouble over here. Like, this could be like, wah, wah. Like, I just fucking show up and fucking poop the whole party. And I'm like, man, you're going to have to really, I'm not fit. I wasn't skateboard fit. I'd done 2 days before that day to do a 540. And my calculations were fucking off big time. I needed like 2 weeks before I did that. This is what I really should have done. So yeah, you guys don't know, but if I hadn't done that wrong, the difference is when you're older and you're not that good, if it's wrong, you're not going to catch it. You're going to do, I'm going to sleep. And I just didn't want to go to sleep. I'm too old to fucking smack my head on the ground. I was like, make it, Jason, make it. Don't get hurt. Do when it's right. Make the right one. Don't make a challenging one. Make the puppy one. And the puppy one took a really long time. So when it ended and I made it, I don't remember anything except, oh my God, get me the fuck away from this fucking ramp. I fucking hate skate. I swear I didn't skate again for like another 7 years. That shit fucking bummed me out so bad. It was so hard. It was too hard.
Dude, it was such a long fucking day with like Josh getting progressively more fucking hammered.
I had freestyle moto dudes going, man, you guys take a long time to make tricks, huh? And I'm like, fuck. You guys got handlebars. Fuck you.
It was amazing. It was an amazing fucking day. All right. Can I just clear up why I got fired?
Yeah, sure.
Because it's the amount of deception involved in this is.
I told you what I got told, right?
I know. And the thing is,
and that's not true.
You being told that you're not the first person that told me that. I think Josh might even have mentioned something about it, that's what he'd heard.
Yeah.
So what the company says I was fired for was for trying to buy masters from a listener.
Yeah,
Right?
and getting serious to pay that guy for it.
And getting serious to pay that guy.
Yeah.
This is what actually happened.
Wait, what do you mean by masters?
No, you know how he's got.
We were using with the vocals and everything on them.
Somebody had like separated
The stems.
vocals to give, and Christian was gonna get serious to pay for his stuff so that we could use it.
Okay.
Is what we were told.
Was what you were told. That's not true. So first off, when I realized that I didn't want to keep doing, I just wanted my life back, because one of the things that you should understand, Jason, and I think everyone else involved in this triumvirate can attest to, is that, the show kind of overtakes your life.
Yeah.
And it does. Like
More so than the now. Because then
more so than the now. Absolutely.
everything was, if you had a problem, I said you had to do it on air. Now,
right.
It's
Everything.
just, I didn't know any better. Sorry.
Nobody's blaming you.
No, I should, no, but there were times where I was like, this has to be on air, when it fucking totally didn't. I just was too basic to understand any other. I thought it had to be on air. The more piss, the more air you needed to do.
Sure. And the other thing is that we gladly fucking paid into that. Like we all
I don't know about gladly, but you did do it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We were all like, it was my choice to stay on the show.
Josh is the worst.
I think harder in that.
Josh got it the worst, and there was nobody who was, saying, didn't want to do it. We showed up to get bitten by things. We showed up to get punched by things. It was part of the fucking, the beautiful disaster that was that era of the show. And I just got to the point where I was like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. And you sure?
I've got crabs coming in next week if you want to come in.
All right, I might do that.
Hey, any more monitor lizards? I'm real excited to eat one of those.
You realize when I got fired, one of the first things I did, I called Pink, and then I called the reptile place because I'm like, I need a celebrity and I need carnage. So we're back.
Nothing's changed.
Reptile. Stat.
What's old is new again.
Yeah.
So I had reached the point where I didn't want to do it anymore. And there was a period there where Kevin, before he'd become this important part of the show that he has since, and fucking Kevin is the hardest working one out of all of you, because he's put up with more bullshit to get to sit at that desk than anyone else has. And it's still only a third of what any other human being would do. But nonetheless, Kevin was being shunned. And there was a period there where you would put somebody in the hot seat who would get ignored. And I'd suffered it. and everyone else had suffered it, and Kevin was suffering it, and I wasn't fucking cool with it. And I didn't want to do the band anymore. I just wanted my life back. And I remember going, and I'm not going to mention names, but the dude that was in charge of our channel, I remember saying, I need to have a fucking private meeting with you. And we went into one of those little soundproof fucking closet recording things. And I looked at him and I said, I want to leave the show and I want to leave the band. And I'm really concerned that if I do that, I'm going to suffer some kind of recrimination from Jason or from the fans. And do you know what that person in charge of our radio station said to me?
What?
What he should have said was, everything's going to be cool. Don't worry about it. I would never let that happen. That fucking guy looked at me and said, you know how it is. It's a gang. You're never getting out.
Whoa, that makes no sense at all.
That is exactly what, I'm not lying to you at all. That's exactly what that person said to me. And I looked at him and I was like, then I'm going to lose my fucking job over this. And I was, that was it.
I don't know who you're talking about, but if I think it is he's a dark guy that has his own troubles. And sometimes I get really great positive feedback from him. And sometimes he says stuff where I go, oh my God, I think maybe we should all kill each other. I swear this guy I've called him before and he's a bad day and he's talking to me and I'm like, wow. It might all be over. And then he'll email me and say, man, but greatest show I've ever seen. You really got a gift. So So that was what I got from guidance from that dude. So right then I knew the fucking clock was ticking. So what had happened with this fucking recordings thing was this listener had reached out to me who lived in Texas and was like, I have a bunch of shit that you're really going to love having. I want to get it to you. And I said, cool. What do you need? He's like, I just need a hard drive. And I was like, great. I'll send you the hard drive. You put the things on there, and then we will reimburse you for the hard drive, and I'll send you a little care package to thank you, because he was a huge Ellis fan. Right. So he's like, great. I sent him the hard drive. He sent me the hard drive first, and it was set up for PC, so I couldn't actually access it on my Mac. So then I had to send it back to him, and I was like, I'll send you another fucking hard drive that I can use on my Mac. Sent it to him. There was a little bit of confusion, but after like a couple months, I got it back. And then we were using them on the air all the time. So, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus because everyone was dealing with whatever they were dealing with. I left Kevin a note and I said, hey man, can we get this guy some thanks for this shit? And then I need to pay him back for the shipping of this hard drive for stuff that we're using on the air. Is that possible? And Will said yes. And Kevin had the receipt and everything. So after 3 or 4 months, this dude sends me an email and he's like, hey man, I never got anything from you guys. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, I never got anything. So I was like, what the fuck? So I went to Kevin and the receipt and the thing was still on his fucking thing. And I said, can you take care of this? And he was like, yeah, consider it done. 3 or 4 months later, the guy hits me up and he's like, so thanks for the towel, but I haven't been paid for the shipping on this thing. And this is kind of bullshit.
Oh, they sent him a cum rag?
Yeah, they sent him the cum rag.
Oh no.
Which everybody should be happy with. So I sent an email to everybody off of the fucking radar that had me, Kevin, you weren't on it, Will was on it. And I said, hey, these fucking assholes haven't taken care of anything. I guess I'll send you the fucking money. Thanks for nothing, guys. That fucking email, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. This is what happened. Tully forwarded that email to Will and said, can you stop this guy from calling us assholes in emails? But this is on a radio show where everybody got called everything numerous times a minute. My phone call to inform me that I was fired was because I disparaged SiriusXM employees in front of a listener. And my phone call from Will was as follows. Hey, you know that phone call you get to tell you that you're fired? Well, this is it. And then he hung up.
Shut the fuck up.
I swear to God, that's why I fucking sued them. I got fired for disparaging SiriusXM employees in front of a listener. I have all of this.
Were you and Will at, I mean, that sounds like you guys were at war before that phone call. Like, were you guys, you were hostile with each other before this?
No. And I don't
understand why he's so angry at you.
There's shit that I have on Will that I will never, because I'm a man of my fucking word, and I promised him that I would never let any of that information out. I have shit that would have burned that fucking guy to the ground, and I will never tell anybody any of that shit. And that fucking guy fired me for disparaging SiriusXM employees
Well, you know,
in front of a listener.
You know as well as I do, he didn't fire you. He has no authority whatsoever, Christian. You know that, right?
Right. Well, he went to the chick. So here's the other thing that needs to happen that everyone should know. So remember when I quit the band and I wrote a thing on Facebook and I was like, I just don't like the abusive atmosphere of the fucking studio. The woman
Okay,
from fucking...
I don't want to brush over that too much. I can't remember everything, but you said some stuff in there that I didn't think was true of me, and you kind of... That was directly at me. A lot of stuff there where you said, I can't remember any of it, but I was like, whoa, that's not what happened. And a lot of people came to me. A lot of people left the show because of what you said, what kind of person I was. And I was like, as I've already mentioned, I did handle things inappropriately several times, but man, I don't know if I was, like you just said, I got you fired. I'm like, man, it sounds like the story you're saying is
because that's
Will
what
got
I
you
was
fired.
told. No, but what I was told was that...
Somebody told you I did it.
I was told that there was a meeting where it was requested that I was fired by you. Yeah, dude. This is the amount of fucking lies that were being told in the background to cover people's asses.
Someone could tell that story and I could say I don't want to work with Christian anymore, and someone could say I said I wanted you fired, but I definitely I know I said I didn't want to work with you anymore. I fucking told you that.
Yeah, a number of times. So
but I didn't
I didn't want to work with you. I was completely fine with it.
Right.
What it was that Will wanted to get rid of me. And the reason that I knew that Will wanted to get rid of me was because Regan had me on fucking Alt Nation, and I was suddenly no longer on Alt Nation, and I kept hitting up Regan and being like, yo, man, what's up? Like, because every time I was on Alt Nation, he was like, you're amazing. You're the fucking best guy we have. I love what you're doing. And then all of a sudden he stopped talking to me. And I was like, yo, man, am I still on? He's like, yeah, January 1st. We'll deal with this in January. I got budget things. We got January. So Will had already told Regan to not keep me on fucking Alt Nation because I was going, which is the same thing that you were dealing with the fucking MGK thing, where they're like, make it seem like we're doing this, but we're not going to fucking really do it. So here's what happened when I quit the band and I put the Facebook thing up and I said, I don't like the atmosphere and I don't want to do this anymore. I just want my life back. This woman from fucking HR called me and she said, we've read your Facebook post and we want to know what's going on in the studios and in the atmosphere in California. And I said, I'm not saying anything to anybody. This is my decision to leave the show. If you guys want to find out what's going on, it's really simple. Just start asking questions. If you don't, then it's totally fucking cool. But I'm not getting anybody fired. I'm not throwing anybody under the fucking bus. I'm just done with this. And she was like, well, we need to know if you're going to do anything.
That's not what I heard.
Anything. I know. Well, what did you hear?
You were trying to get me fired?
Of course not.
I heard Josh tried to get me fired too.
All I said was I wanted to leave the show.
What, Josh?
Why would
I said I said I did not try to get you fired.
I'm just saying that all these people saying all this stuff in the end, I mean, get it out, Christian, because I'm just saying I feel like a lot of this is some of these guys are fucking stirring the pot, dude. Because that just came to me out of nowhere. Yeah, but Josh is trying to get you fired. I'm like, what do you mean,
dude?
He's like, he's calling, trying to get, and I was like,
probably
really, dude?
I was married. Just people make shit up.
Yeah,
dude. Here's the truth. If I wanted to get you fired, who else's lives would that destroy? That would make Kevin's life really fucking...
Yeah, but you were mad at Kevin, too. You stopped talking to Kevin when this all happened.
No, I didn't.
That's what Kevin told me.
To Kevin.
Kevin told me that you guys were cool, and then all of a sudden you weren't. And Kevin...
So here's the other thing. Do you know what Will told me? I wasn't allowed to be in the building when you guys were in the building. That's why you never saw me. I had to voice track my show in hours when you weren't there. I was also instructed that I was no longer allowed to be a guest on any podcast associated with the fucking Jason Ellis show, which was specifically steered at the Mad Scientist Party Hour. I was instructed that I was not allowed to have contact with anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. So when
I didn't even know Kevin had a podcast back then. So I swear, dude, it definitely wasn't me.
You might not have honestly totally gotten what a podcast was. I'll say that in your defense.
Thank you.
Seriously.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
But so there was no way that I was going to ask for you to get fired, because if you got fired, your family's lives would have been destroyed. You fucking fucking Tully and all that. Why would I do that? I just wanted my life back. And when I sued the fucking company, I was only suing them for wrongful fucking termination, because disparaging SiriusXM employees in front of a listener is not grounds for dismissal on a show where everybody routinely calls each other a cunt on the air.
Yeah, but I know how it got to the point where everybody was legitimately angry at each other. There was a real tension for everybody towards everybody. And this time, the biggest ranking person in the drama was me. So those guys answered to me, like Howard Stern. Like, fuck you, Jason. Fuck you, Jenna McCarthy. Howard Stern's getting what he wants. So that's, without them even telling me, that's how that's going to go. They're going to lean, oh, you're talking shit, you don't like it? Well, big boy over here that's paying the bills, we're making him happy. So I just don't understand why they needed to make you guys seem worse after it. Like, why tell me that they're trying to get me fired when we're not even talking anymore? Like, what did that do? I don't understand why anyone would say that. And you do have to talk to Christian. You did tell me that you guys were cool, and then all of a sudden you weren't. You were. He was worried about it. He was like, man, we're not cool. I didn't do anything to Christian, so you should talk, dude. Yeah,
because I remember you, after you had gotten fired, you called me, and I was at the dentist office. So it went to voicemail. And when I tried to call you back later, you were really pissed at me. And then I was like blocked from your social media accounts and stuff. And we haven't talked since.
Yeah, because I was really bummed because I was suddenly had the feeling that being told that I wasn't allowed on anyone's podcasts and, you know, not being reached out to. So I apologize. You know, also I was fucking, you know, as I, you know, indicated in my email to Ellis when he got fired, it's like, everything becomes really, really painful. And I was really bummed because I loved the guys on that fucking podcast. And I loved coming there and I loved feeling like I was, you know, like
Christian, if anybody can understand, it's me. You and I are very similar when it comes to that stuff. And when you burn me, like I can't listen to Sirius XM in my car right now. I can't turn it on. I'll listen to complete silence. I'll listen to farts. I'm not listening to that. And it's over time, just like we're talking to each other right now. Fucking 10 years ago, we're not talking to each other. Like this is, it's past it, and you've realized that what's more important in life, like these little, he said this, she said that. At the end, it doesn't matter unless I'm like, if I see you, motherfucker, like watch out. But I'm not. I'm saying, man, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that it got to this. I know that the egos. I know that when we're just normal people who don't expect any more. I mean, I've had a exceptional run being a skateboarder and all that shit, but I was also pretty sure that was it. And now all of a sudden, oh my God, you're you. And I'm like, what? I am? And then, you know, we were all, oh my God, you're you guys. And it's in here and we should be getting more pool. We're bigger than this show and they get $1 million. Why don't we get it? Like it inflates people around you, boosts you up. There's this thing that triggers your brain. You're stimulated and your egos are high and your feelings are hurt quicker and it's more offensive. The cuts are deeper. It's and it all boiling and no one's there's no resentment squashed. Every single piece of resentment is just stacked because no one ever hashes anything out. And if they do, it's like a little bit of a lie. So it's never really squashed. So even Josh and I did an Ellis Chinese with Josh. It was bullshit. We didn't fucking touch on one subject. It was just like, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Me too. I'm good. And that's kind of good.
It was nice. I felt good after that. Did you not feel
Oh, damn. Josh got closure. This is awkward.
Yeah, I got closure. You never got closure. That's sad for me.
I got a little bit, but not. I felt like you didn't believe me. I felt like it was like, yeah, I'll talk to you, but I don't feel like I don't remember being apologetic enough. I think maybe that's really what it is. I think I didn't take enough responsibility.
I remember that. I mean, like I'm sure that is still up on the internet somewhere. I remember you being pretty apologetic, and I remember thinking it was sincere. I mean, I don't want to sound like a fucking yogi or anything, but like it truly is. Like the further we recede from this stuff, the more all of the details of all these grudges and resentments just sort of blend together in my head, and it loses all meaning. And it just flashes of good memories and you know, refocusing on the future and the present. And there's no point in dwelling on this stuff. It just adds pain, you know.
We should all go to Christian's house and give him COVID and murder him.
Great plan. I mean, when can you guys get here?
Murder love.
I think that the crazy thing for me is that we were a band. In one aspect of the show, we were a band, but in all aspects of the show, we had the relationships that would make a ridiculously good VH1 Behind the Music. So
Oh,
the
yeah.
stories of the fucking ridiculousness are just as fucking huge as they would have been in any other. Like it's like the Goo Goo Dolls times a million with people getting bitten and punching each other in the face.
I was telling that podcast that I was on that Josh is running. I was like, I know it's hard for people to fathom, but it was kind of like Motley Crue. Just, I mean, we didn't travel the world, but there was fucking real ego and real drama that was rivaled with any. I've been on tour with rock stars. It was right up there. I've seen.
Dude.
We were just as dumb as any other band I've ever seen.
We might have only sold 10,000 copies, but we were every bit the same cocksuckers.
I was just like agreeing to just agreeing to stay on the show and be part of the band and be part of that. I was agreeing to be a participant in that drama. And if I look on it, if I have any like personal like regrets about anything, it's that like if I felt like I was in a situation where I wasn't like respected or taken seriously or whatever I was thinking at the time, I should have just taken that as a sign that maybe it's time for me to cut the cord earlier. Instead, I let things just get worse and fester, and that's on me, honestly. Like I should have had the clarity of mind to be like, I'm ready for this. Is maybe not the role that's going to suit me for the rest of my life.
You were young.
Well,
it's tough.
We were young. I think the other thing is that, as we've stated, like the show does become your life. And there is an addiction to that, and there's an excitement to it. And Jason, you're a very, very powerful person. And not physically. I mean, physically you are, of course, but now you're getting old and your knees are shot and you'll fall to pieces eventually. But
keep talking,
just shut up with HGH 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, because I got fired. That was my last shot. So, yeah, as of next week, you're right. I will be dwindling in my fucking broke life.
but psychically, you're really, really powerful. And that, I think that I don't know the post there. I know that there's enough of an indication of the post-therapy Ellis that you will publicly apologize in front of people. And I believe your apology. So I know
good because it's sincere.
There's a before this moment and an after that moment. And before this moment was an unbelievably powerful soup of making things happen, willing books into the bookseller, the New York Times bestseller list, willing bands to the fucking top. Like all of that stuff was done with you at the helm. This team is a ridiculous fucking team, an incredibly powerful team. I've said it. Anyone who will listen, Mike Tully has the fastest fucking comedic mind that I've ever been in a room with. That didn't make me like him any more or less, but it was something that I could look at and be like, that dude, when I'm in the room with that guy, I get smarter and it gets funnier. And when I'm in the room with each of the people on this fucking here, it's more powerful than fucking Covino and Rich. It's more powerful than any of these other bullshit fucking shows that I've heard on that fucking thing, because none of those other radio, not even Stern, got a fucking record into the fucking charts, a book into the bestseller list, and a fucking sold out fucking concert of a band of yahoos all at exactly the same moment. That all happened in the same fucking week. And that is predicated on your psychic ability to push through and to drag everyone behind you with them. And inside that soup is a lot of drama. And the crazy thing is, what's really fucking maddening about it is that the person who was representing that company to this group of people wanted more to be part of this group of people than he wanted to manage the workplace. And he didn't want to manage that fucking workplace. And that was his fucking job. His job was to manage that workplace and to make sure that everybody walked away safe. And when that fucking idiot looked at me and said, this is a gang, you'll never get out of it, I was like, I don't even know what world I'm living in anymore, but I'm about to lose my fucking job. And that was all I knew.
Well, they took his shit as well. You know that, right?
That's deserved. That person took care of none of us. Took care of nobody. And that's I don't give a fuck. He's the only person that I have no fucking sympathy for whatsoever. Because,
still have some resentment for him?
Yeah, dude, of course, because that person is the person who got me fired.
Sure of that?
Is the person.
I mean, at one point you were pretty sure it was me. You know that, right?
No. I mean, like he was the head of he's the one who sent that email to HR and was like, I want this person removed. And then drummed up a bullshit reason for me to get fired. Disparaging fucking SiriusXM employees in front of a listener is the most insane. I saw that email and I was like, I took it to my fucking attorney and I was like, this is ridiculous. He's like, what? On that show? The show where everybody's an asshole the minute they walk through the front door?
Isn't it weird that his opinion of the show, like how everyone's just attacking everybody the whole time, and I'm like, what show is this?
Like a pack of hyenas.
Yeah, like
back in the day,
it just doesn't work like that anymore. Like it's,
I know. Back in the day, there was, like you have to be pretty strong to sit in that fucking room.
I will say this.
Good point. Also, fuck you.
Thank you, fucking ugly cunt. Let's get back to the old stuff. Now when people say bring the old stuff back, now I'll be like, you know what, dude? What? Listen to someone else's fucking show, because I don't want to live in that. If that was the thing that made me special, forget me. I don't want to fucking be special.
It was like a gang of dudes hanging out, and a lot of that is built on fucking, being jockeying for position.
I do want to say something about motivating everybody. At one point, I only knew one thing, and I knew how to get good at skateboarding because I'd done it, and I knew the thought process behind being good at something, and it was, you cannot doubt yourself at all. You have to be 110% for sure, and they don't. So, right. At that point, I only knew that was the way that you get things done. I did not know that. There was a time there where I felt like my encouragement, if to make me better, was to say, I bet you can't do it, you fat, useless cunt. And I'd be like, oh yeah?
That's what I was talking about.
So that's what I thought I would tell everybody else to get them to do their shit.
Oh yeah, no.
And I remember realizing like Josh is not reacting the right way to my fucking offensive encouragement.
I should coach harder.
Yeah. No, dude, my initial thought was to be more offensive and harsher because it's not getting him to rise.
People respond better to positive feedback. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Look, I got kids. Look, my kids were little. I know now there's another way. Like I know. Listen, you little pansy, get the fuck up there. I know that doesn't work on my. You gotta. And now I even tell myself, you can do this, Jason. I don't go, every now and then I still do. Like you cut me off,
right.
Old me shows up, no problem. You want to fucking go, cunt? Yeah. I'll do it. And then I'll go, oh God, don't. Same as if I'm boxing and I can't get a technique, I'll go, fuck, asshole. And then I'm going, wait, no. Think about it. You can do it. Just got to calm your mind, calm down. Figure out a way to do this in a positive fashion. So now I know that there's other ways to get things done. Every now and then you got to hit the hard and the fuck up button. Sure. But I'd say most of the time there'd be another way about it that I did not have. I did not have that in my Batman belt. That was not in there, and now I have it. So I would never use that again. But in my defense, it's all I knew, and without it, we wouldn't have got there because I didn't have any other technique.
And to be fair, in the 6 months or so after leaving the show, there was a part of me looking for new jobs in the podcast world where I was in the back of my head, I'm going to show that motherfucker. I'm going to get to the top. And that probably so that level of motivation probably did rub off on me in some way, honestly.
Okay.
Well,
after I left the show.
It's hard to be in a situation where negative reinforcement is the rule of the day, and then switch to a positive reinforcement mentally. Let's be honest. So you're right. That was the harden the fuck up attitude was throughout everything.
But it scars people with that.
It's a difficult atmosphere to work in because sometimes you need, and that's how one could then see that vindictiveness might be a possibility. That's when you can see that it is possible for somebody to be like, I want that fucking dude fired, instead of the conversation being, I don't want to fucking work with that guy anymore. And clearly I know why Will did what he did. Absolutely. And
why?
The thing that's, I can't tell you.
Oh.
That's I made a deal with him. My word is that I would never mention it. So I know why I had to be cleared out of that building. What I was convinced of was that the opportunity had been given to him by you guys, or by you specifically, Jason. And now I see that that's not what happened.
That's not true. I wanted you to not work at Sirius, and I voiced that to him for sure.
Well, there you go. He took the opportunity.
And then when they told me you were fired, I told you in that email. I was like, good. Glad you figured it out. Right. Let's get to work. I'm not going to think about it a second. Because, that Facebook thing, that hurt me. And I was already angry at you. And when you posted that, I was like, oh yeah, fuck you, dude. But I also knew, I was like, fuck him, man. I can't believe he fucking did that. I don't want to fucking see that guy's fucking face ever again. If he cannot work with me, great. If he cannot work at SiriusXM, even better. But I knew back then that means nothing. Like I thought that there was a couple of people above us that shouldn't have a job there. And I voiced that to people and they were like, dude, you can't even say that. So I figured that was just, I had it down to, I'm going to fucking see you for the rest of my life. And every time I walk by you in the corridor, it's going to be awkward as fuck. There's going to be crazy tension and I'm going to probably smoke way more weed. To not say, what the fuck? Because I was so angry at everything back then if it went wrong. And that was the biggest thing that it had all fallen apart. Yeah. And it was all my fault, really. That's how I took it anyway.
Well, it was certainly it was a lemony snicket series of unfortunate events, but as happens with everything, you could eventually look back on it. And I think that's what this, I'm really glad that this happened because ultimately, as I say, the level of drama and madness is commensurate to me with the level of achievement. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right, because it takes a certain amount of insanity to get to that level. So when the insanity shoots, it's fucking embarrassing. Less on Tully and that, but for sure, you and I, dude. Like,
that's why you're
both
the lead singer in the band and I'm the drummer. Like, we are. It's the quintessential douchiest fucking cliche.
Like,
in the
there's
world.
times where I've pointed out how ridiculous you were, and as the sentence comes out, I'm like, I did that. I did that same thing. Like, I'm like, wow, and you're offended by him. Like, I remember there was times there you talked to Raw Dog, and I'm like, man, you fucking don't talk to him like that. And then I fucking tell Raw Dog what a piece of shit he was like an hour later. I'm like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I hope one day I do. And a little bit, so it means the world to me that you guys are cool. I hope that this fucking COVID thing ends and we can all fucking have a lunch or something and fucking bro down. Cause I miss you guys, man. I carry it every day to know that you don't like me. Cause I love you guys. And to know that you don't like me and that you're tortured or every time you think of me or you see me, you're like, fuck that. It kills me. Cause I really do care for you guys, man. And I can't believe it got to that,
I mean, it's a cliche, but like life's too short to hold on to this shit, I mean, it's better in the long run to just be like, I don't want to like have some like weird dark spot in my past I'm not thinking about either, It's better to like have all that shit integrated and let bygones be bygones.
You want to know a gnarly one? First time I went to hospital with the heart thing and they were like, he's having a heart attack. That was the scariest one because I didn't know what an AFib was or anything. And they were on the monitor and they were like, he's going into cardiac arrest. And I was like, I'm going to die. And I remember looking at the roof in the hospital and immediately I thought God. And I was like, shit, right. I'm like, my brother's dead. I'm like, Stevie, can you stop this? I mean? Like, I don't know if there's anybody up there, but can you stop it? And then I thought, Sluggo fucked my first wife and didn't tell me. And then when I broke up with her, he told me like a year later that he fucked her. And I'm like, wait, what? You fucked my wife behind my back? This is going to be great for Sluggo. I don't care. But I fucking resented the shit out of that. Like, he gave me money. He felt so bad. He gave me money to start a skateboard company. And I took it because I was like, I fucking hate you. But I was not talking to him for years. If I did talk to him, it was half me and half switched off because I was so burnt by that. When I got out of hospital and that all ended, I called Sluggo to tell him that I loved him. I tried to call him before I went into surgery because I wanted him to know that all that shit means nothing in the end. We are fucking brothers forever. And yeah, you did fuck my wife.
Now you're Eskimo brothers.
That wouldn't be the first time. I'll fucking seal his deal right there.
I mean, you might be raising his child.
Not that wife. The one before it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Shit. But it really, like, because that's the thing, man. The good thing about almost dying is it makes me very emotional to know that I won't be here. But it also makes me realize how important being here is. And I don't have time for, I'm going to get you, sucker. I don't have time for that. I spent too many years stewing on this or that. I just want to be happy, and I want you guys to be happy. You know, that would make me happy knowing that you guys are happy.
Likewise.
Well, I'm happy. So now you know.
You're a little husky, but you're happy.
You look healthy, Joe.
Oh, and I'm trying to break the ice.
Very
I'm fucking verklempt over here.
Yeah, and Christian, thank you for the kind words, and throughout all of this, I none of us have ever withheld any praise for your abilities and what you brought to the table as well, specifically in regard to that. I was having.
I told people that you was all you, even when I hated you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I had a conversation with a listener in the last 2 weeks where I talked about how, I'd go, he wanted to know about the process. And I said, I'd go by and, probably about 60-40, they were my guitar parts, and I'd leave pretty much a completed instrumental. And I'm like, I didn't have a thing to do with the vocals. And Jason can only take so much credit for that as well. Obviously, we're, all playing in his sandbox stylistically. But I remember when I got an email of, we'd put down all the instrumentals for Death, Death, Die, and then you emailed us and said, here's the song titles. Me and Jason went through and figured out the song titles. And I thought they were working titles / jokes, because it was like, fuck you, you can go fuck yourself, fuck your face. And I was like, well, it's a process.
That was kind of what was on my mind at the time, though, Michael.
You're a cunt, and then the album came out, and that was, you guys actually really had sat down that night and figured out what all the songs were.
You realize that's like Christian writing with me and me adding my bit, which was just, what about cunt shitting out of her flaps?
Yeah, for sure.
And if he laughed, then I'd push it into the song.
Right.
So he might have laughed just because I'm an idiot, not like that's a good idea for a lyric.
No.
Sorry.
My favorite was the whole conceit of doing fuck your face just so we could then do a radio edit that took all the fucks out.
Yeah.
So the song made no fucking sense whatsoever because we were so pissed at the radio edits of those fucking rap songs.
I still play that for people. To me, that's bragging shit right there. I'm like, listen to this song. Has no lyrics because I say fuck too much.
Well, yeah, I mean, I genuinely, sincerely, I think if I could project into the future, I would love to. I think that the only way for this ridiculous adventure to really close as a chapter is to do a fucking Death, Death, Die show where we play fucking all of the hits.
Wow. Well, I really need to call that vocal coach today.
I mean, obviously, we got to put a binder together of all the fucking lyrics again. But I think that that would be outrageous.
You fucking asshole. If I really put myself in it, I can do it, all right? I just didn't want to do it at the time. Fucking asshole. But yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. There was several times I'd be like, hey, oh shit, what's the lyrics? Anybody?
The old Vince Neil.
Yeah,
except mine was, I could hit the note, I just didn't know the words.
Yeah. But that to me would be, the best gift that would be the best gift to the fans, I think, would be for us to be able to go and actually do that and just simply enjoy the fuck out of the fact that we did something amazing. Those fucking records are absurdly good. We should have got the fucking Grammy for best comedy record for one of those. We
should have had a record label.
We should have had a record label that supported what we were doing.
But then we didn't want to give them all the money. I say, fuck the fucking trophy. We got the money. Fuck that. That business is such a scam. If we go back into it, stay the same. Like, they're not getting anything.
Do you remember when we got the breakdown of the records and we'd sold like 15,000 copies of Taint Stick and we each got a $2,000 check?
Welcome to the big leagues.
I remember thinking that was $3,000 because I remember thinking there's no money. This is a joke. So $2,000. I remember going, wow, what a deal. Like, I just didn't even, it went over my head.
I mean, Tully and I would be like 2 billion Spotify plays of Taint Stick and you would get like $52.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
Tully and I ran the numbers and we're like, if we put this out ourselves, this is going to make way more fun. And the thing was, like, we did exactly what we wanted to do. The director's fucking cut with us doing the voiceover of The Woodsman. If you have, as a fan, if you've never listened to us, high as fuck, we did 2 director's cut versions.
I've never heard that.
Dude, it's amazing.
You were a part of it.
Was I?
I remember putting that entire DVD together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
You
sat in
let me
the
direct
fucking.
the movie. I mean, I did get to do some crazy shit.
Dude, the movie, to me, I don't care, is one of the proud. Everybody, Corey Taylor was on the show before I was fired, bragging about making a horror movie, and I was like, you might want to fucking type in Woodsman on YouTube before you start bragging about how great you are at making comedy horror movies. I am not joking when I say The Woodsman is one of the greatest movies ever made. Fuck everybody.
I would have never got this.
Oh, wow. No way.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
You got your fucking money's worth out of that thing, didn't you?
It looks well maintained.
In the bathroom of my Hollywood apartment with a super soaker gun, testing out different cum solutions to see what would be the best on camera. Like I ended up, I think, using like sour cream. Yeah, it was.
You want to know something crazy? Guess who's helping me with my podcast deal? Josh Eldridge, the person we threw pudding on his face. Josh Eldridge is a dear friend of mine who is so high up in the game that he's just helping me. Everybody is helping. When we got fired, everybody is trying to help me. Right. The studio is people trying to help me. I had like somebody got a guy that builds studios in here for a really good deal to help me. Like just people just reached out that people that I don't know. Like Kevin Undergaro, this guy that doesn't know me, just called me and was like, bullshit what they did. Bullshit. Here's what you need to do. Anything I can do to help. And I'm like, I don't know anything. And then.
Holy shit, I worked for Kevin Undergaro for like 6 months.
No way.
Yeah, for real.
Is he not one of the nicest people you've ever met?
He's a nice guy. Oh, for sure. Him and Maria Menounos, the company After.
Totally don't trust him. Dude trying to help me, Christian. And I'm like, so what do you want? He's like, I don't want anything. I'm like, yeah, right. To the point where when it was built, I was like, so what do you want? And here's the catch, right? He's like, no, I know that you think everyone in Hollywood is like that, but believe it or not, there are a couple of nice people in Hollywood, and I want you to know that. Believe that there are a few of us that aren't complete blood-sucking vampires. And I was like, this is fucking... I mean, just the people that help, the Josh Eldridges of the world, these Kevin Undergaro people that they don't know me shit. Just like, they're like, man, you seem like a really sincere guy. We don't want you to disappear. Like, let's help you get back on your feet. Forever in debt to everybody. Which made me, like, when you're bringing up all these stories about trying to make things work and me not understanding it, it's so easy for me to believe that that's exactly how it was, because I really just didn't believe anybody was into anything except getting their own shit. Everybody.
Right, that was the thing. You thought that everybody was helping to get this thing to move so that we could then take full advantage of it, which was not what was happening at all.
I had a lot of people in my ear that were,
of course,
telling me that too.
The 5 people on this on this call were there because we wanted this whole thing to move, because that's what I said in the fucking email. We were your support team. There was nobody there who I've told people that as I said in the fucking email to you about the radio, we did the best radio I've ever been part of. Ever, period. There was that point when we were when we got to the news, even at the old studios, I kind of have like a romantic perspective on the old Swing House studios because it felt so fucking punk rock to have like 8 of us crammed into a refrigerator size fucking studio.
I still miss the smell of poop.
Yeah, good for you.
Like it's still, but like the cool thing about like walking through and hearing all those bands practicing, and then like Bob Marley's fucking family is there, and you like, it just felt like
Steven Tyler walked in fucking talking to me. You guys got to check out my new song. I remember taking me into a studio and playing this shitty song while I had to stand there and act like it was the greatest thing I'd ever heard in my life. Fucking so intimidated.
I was sitting there screening calls, and Steven Tyler just walks in, and I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, I saw some crazy animals around here. And then there's like a giant 15-pound African frog in a bucket. He's like, can I take it? And I'm like, you can do whatever you want. And he just reaches in and picks up a frog this fucking big and holds it up to his face. Like, you got to get a picture of this. Take a picture.
I mean, like those moments in that place were amazing. But when we moved to the middle stage studios, and you actually had a studio that was yours, and it was and the fucking, like at that point was when the show was firing at its fucking fullest 100% machine power. And it was unlike any other broadcast. And I'm a radio guy. It's all I care about. And it is unlike any other broadcasting that has ever been done in the history of broadcasting. Period.
Well,
and that is all your vision. And it was a support team of these 4 people who loved you and loved that fucking show. And nobody was in it to make themselves bigger than that show, because everybody involved knew that ultimately none of us would be able to do it as well as you were. But you weren't going to be able to do it if you didn't have the 4 of us involved, and it didn't feel two-way. And that, I think, was the ultimate problem, is you didn't know how to express that because you were an emotional retard, because you were fucking dealing with so much trauma and PTSD and damage.
I wasn't even dealing with it. I was running from it the whole time.
Running from, like, incapable of dealing with it,
Right.
dude. Like, none of us have lost a fucking brother in that way. We all know your story, dude.
Yeah.
We all know your story. We lived it with you.
Sorry about that.
No, it's nothing to apologize for.
Yeah.
It's for you to understand that we stayed in that room knowing how damaged you were, and knowing that you were lashing out at us, and knowing that this is what we were going to have to put up with. But it was worth it, because at the end of the day, you're not genuinely a piece of shit. And what we were making was brilliant fucking radio.
Just like right
Brilliant
now.
Radio. Just
Right?
like now.
Cutting edge. The cutting edge of podcasting.
Yeah, did you know they shot me in my bare nutsack, Christian?
Yeah.
We're still killing it.
Yeah, maybe don't come down here.
But
I got a couple of bicycles in the garage, Josh, if you want to fucking race. Hey.
Good. Yeah, let's do that. Let's pick that up.
so that was the end of the day. That was why every single person was there. And why we're still here now, fucking reaching out to you to let you know that when you're fucking down, ultimately, we're all still here. Like, that's why I sent that fucking email. Because I'm not going to gloat over the fact that you lost your fucking job. It's the worst fucking feeling in the world.
Yeah. Well, no, because if you're going to die, that's worse. Because when I was in hospital like a couple months ago, that I'll take Sirius calling me every morning to say you're fired versus that trip to the hospital, man, that emergency room where you're like kids, family, loved ones in your head. It's no good, man.
Right.
I don't wish that on anybody,
I concur.
which is a blessing in a roundabout way. Cause one, doctor was like, you can't drink ever again. It's like a thing that's going to trigger it. And I'm like, that probably should have happened several years ago. So, okay.
You tried.
Yeah, I've tried a bunch of times. Yeah. Well, I got it down to a casual, but you can't be casual. You're not even allowed to be casual. So I'm down to marijuana. That's all I've got left in my.
Way better for you. Just don't vape.
Yeah, no, I got the message. Thank you, Christian.
Just seriously, don't vape. And then I also did through the vaping as well. There's a thing called cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, which is where you become allergic to marijuana.
Yeah.
I now have that.
Dude, how fucking hard were you going? That is such a level.
Yeah,
You
dude.
make yourself allergic to marijuana.
That's you make yourself allergic to THC. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I ran about
maybe
way.
for the best.
I'm on. Yeah, I know that's coming.
Don't
they
vape it.
all come. In the end, you can't even have sugar. When you get older.
Nope.
So now I'm just sort of,
Diabetes.
I don't know how many days I've got of marijuana. I'm just enjoying it until doctor's like,
Well,
can't
Or you
do
could
that.
be like Tommy Chong and be, doing dabs in your 80s.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping for dabs when I'm 80. That's what I'm hoping
Well,
for.
this is why I think that they're now researching it because they can. And the reason that the CHS kicks up is that the vape pens that I was smoking were 93% THC. So your body just gets so overwhelmed by it. So if you're smoking regular weed or you're smoking weed that has like a 40 to 50% THC balance, the chances of getting CHS are virtually zero. That's how people like Tommy Chong can smoke their whole lives and not get fucking CHS. It's
Glad
if
to
you're
hear that.
smoking high potency THC fucking vape pens 8 hours a day, you're going to end up developing CHS. And it sucks, dude. It's no fun. Like, I miss weed a lot.
The vaping just never felt as good. It just never felt the same to me. I've always just stuck to flower.
I loved it.
Yeah, I'll do the vape pen when I'm indoors. Like I do the vape pen when I used to have a job, and I do it to not get Tully contact high.
Right.
But yeah, I roll joints or I smoke. I got the dab
better.
bong. Somebody gave me a fucking dab bong, so I'll do a dab before I go to sleep because I know it makes me stay asleep a little bit longer if I hit a dab before I go to bed. But yeah, I don't hit them all day because they kind of like take away your will to want to win.
I'm back on the volcano train.
You are?
Woo! Loving it.
Volcano's amazing.
Fuck yeah.
I smoke weed now when I want to just immediately shit my pants.
Oh, that's fun too.
Wow, it's handy.
It's great. It's really good.
I don't have an
Works
easy means to
perfectly.
doing that.
What about shrooms, Christian? Have you ever thought of doing that? Like the microdosing and that stuff?
Yeah, I've done actually. I mean, since we lost contact, I've done a bunch of like full-on therapeutic ketamine trips and mushroom trips, like with therapists and everything.
Oh,
So
cool.
I've
Have you done
I've discovered
ayahuasca?
a lot. That's the only one I'm a little nervous about, to be honest with you.
I did
I'm
that.
a little nervous.
And I was with you. I did MDMA therapy with a doctor, and ayahuasca is 10,000 times gnarlier than that. But
Imagine.
it's, to me, I got a lot out of it. Like I'll do it again, but I'm scared to go again because I know I'm going to go even deeper into it. But for me, I did 3 days straight of it, and it just kept.
Did you do it every day?
Yeah, 3 days in a row.
Fuck,
That's how they do, like when you go to like Peru and they really do it like the proper way with a shaman. Isn't that how they do it? It's like
my friend did it for 7 days every day.
The shaman in Peru fell in love with a girl in Los Angeles, and I know through Onnit that he was there, and I hired him to stay at my house for 3 days. And I did ayahuasca in my house while my wife was upstairs listening to me scream and cry and
Poop in a bucket.
You don't do that. I mean, some people maybe do that. The one time I vomited on the third night, because the second night was the hardest for me. The second night was where I saw little 50 that passed away. I could see him, and then and then there was like spirits in the room, like my brother and shit, and that fucking broke me. But I also felt like I'd been holding it. Like I thought I got past it, but I don't think I'd really let it out. You know what I mean? Like the misery of it. And I feel like the sounds that I made, because you're so tripping, but every now and then I'd catch this sound and I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, it's me. Wow, I'm really sad. You know what I mean? Like I don't think I've never howled and scream cried before where I was in bloody misery. But it needed to get out. I needed to face that is a real thing and move past it. And that shit makes you work. You want to get out. Like I was like, okay, I get it. And it's like, stay in here. Because I know you, Jason, you'll say that you've learned your lesson, but you come back in here and you learn it 1,000 times. That's how you learn. I'm like, fuck, drugs. I really wish you'd stop pulling me into this hideous scenario that I have to relive over and over again. But it worked. And then the third one was he gives you the cigarette things, a lot of tobacco in ayahuasca. Yeah. Constant tobacco being blown in your face, spitting on me at one point. And when you're tripping, I'm like, what the fuck? Did someone just jizz on me or something? And I'm like, wait, is he spitting water on me? And it makes me go into a different room. Like I see different things. But he goes, smoke this thing. And he goes, now hold it in. And I held it in. And he gave me a bucket. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Why did he give me a bucket? So I've got a bucket in between my legs, and he's like, hold it in. And then all of a sudden I felt all the pain, like all these things that I held in my stomach turn into like a monster of black tar, like a black tar monster. And it just started coming up. And it felt like I was vomiting like a snake. Like I felt like a beast was coming out of me. And I could have sworn when I was looking at it that it was black tar. And I'm like, oh, wow, this snake looks like black tar. And then when the shit wore off and, like 2 hours later, I went to put the bucket in the toilet, it was vomit. It wasn't black at all.
My friend had the same thing. He was like throwing up black tar, and then it was just puke when he looked at it again. But he was like, it was black tar.
Oh, shit.
It's all of like the negative energy and it's all the douchey things that you hear that you don't want to be part of. You then realize that they're all actually fucking true. Yeah,
and then when it's over and you're clear-headed, the medicine is still in there reminding you that these resentments need to be resolved. Like when you release something like that and you're like, wow, that was really painful, but fuck, do I feel way better that I did that? Then comes okay, I'm not feeling very good about our relationship right now. I should try and tell somebody something, or I should at least face it to myself. I think even like, not only would I not talk to you about it, I won't even face it myself. Like I'm like, no, it's just not, we don't even have a beef. I'm not even going to think about the beef. I'm just going to keep going about my day.
Right.
I was very good at pushing stuff away. I mean, I didn't know that somebody raped me my whole life. I didn't know how much of a fucking, that is like, I never, how did I manage to get that? That never happened to me. I watched Oprah. I was like, man, people got raped when they were kids. Fuck, that is so bad. I was one of them. And I didn't remember until I took a bunch of drugs when I was like 25 or something. That's when I first realized that I was molested as a child, which tells me I am really good at not facing my problems to the point where I now have to kind of go, what is the problem of today? I have to.
But if I may, it's all hard baked into this harden the fuck up thing.
Yeah, that was a bit of a
telltale.
Well, Justin Fortune was a guy that reminded me of my father. He was a tough guy who didn't rape me, so I liked that part. And the Australian part was like a dad that I never had. And he was a really tough guy that fought through stuff. And I thought, you know what, Jason, that's your problem, is you're not tough enough. You need to be even tougher. And sometimes that works. Like if you get punched in the face and you feel like something broke and you fucking brush it off and punch them back, that's good. It's good. It's good for fighting.
Right.
But it's not good for everything else. And I just applied, I learned how to get good at skateboarding. So I applied that to everything else. Then Justin teaches me how to get good at fighting. I see when I work with other guys, I'm like, the pain game. If I cause more pain on you, you break before me. I have resilience. So let's just flex the resilience. Let's just be tough all the time. And it's a sad, lonely existence because it's bullshit. I'm as fragile as, I might be more fragile than all of you combined. I think I'm more like emotional, fuck you guys.
What? Hold on here.
But it's all a facade. Not tough at all. Fucking terrified.
It's always hard to fuck up. Sometimes you got to soften the fuck up. You got to find that balance.
Soften
the fuck up. I'm getting that T-shirt.
Will you put out a book called Soften the Fuck Up, please?
If I
From Yogi Josh Redditstein.
Josh Redditstein is borderline fucking inappropriate.
I can't believe they got another nickname out of this interview. That's great.
Redditstein. It's no Jaegerbeer, but it'll do. All right,
that was the thing that was really annoying for all of us, if you want to know, is that we all knew that you were infinitely more sensitive than you were letting any of us know.
Caught on, huh?
That was no secret to anybody involved in this at all.
Thought I had you all bamboozled.
Not a one.
I feel
Not one of us.
No pain, none at all. You guys, none. Yeah. Fuck. Well, I'm really excited that we're going to hang out. Like, if we play, because that's the other thing. If this podcast does work and we're still a show, there's a fucking good chance. I'm just trying to be. Yeah. Okay.
When?
Ellis Mania can be at the Jason Ellis show now. There's no serious exhibits like you can't do that. So yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I could play a band. Yeah, I could do anything now. We can do anything we want, and we can do gigs anywhere we want, any day we want. All this is now like a thing that could happen.
We could do a rock and roll brunch.
If we wanted to.
Let's grab the fucking Roxy and do Taint Stock 2.
We're kind of getting old. Brunch does, because, I got to get to bed. And
yeah, brunch.
If we play late, man, I've got to get the kids to school. It isn't going to work out. So, yes, I believe Die brunch sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I'm just glad to see this shit still going. Even if we're in different spheres now, I'm happier knowing that the Jason Ellis show is still existing in the world, basically.
I love you, Josh.
Yep. And, I look forward to being able to drop by.
I would love that. I would love if we were all in the room shooting the shit. I think it's a thing that we should definitely do. I think it sounds exciting to me. More exciting than Pink. That's how exciting it is.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm very excited about her being on the show. Trust me. She's a thrill. All right, guys, I'll let you go about your day. I'm very, very happy about this. I was very, very nervous. I got sweaty armpits today because I was like, man, these guys are going to tell me what a piece of shit I am, and I have to realize it again. I'm like, man, it's always pressure when I have to realize what a piece of shit I am. So I'm very happy that we're all cool and friends, and I can't wait to hang out, and maybe we can resolve the death, die thing and let people. I want to see this movie you speak of where
dude.
What are we talking about, Josh?
The
It's
director's
amazing.
commentary of The Woodsman.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's if you have the Woodsman DVD, you can listen to the director's commentary. There's like 3 different commentaries.
I think I have one of those left.
Stoned. We were so stoned. We did 3 commentaries because we couldn't get it all into one commentary.
What?
We did it for we did like 4 hours worth of commentaries in the old refrigerator studio, dude. Watching it on a fucking on the MacBook.
I gotta get
It was
that.
amazing.
All right. Well,
It's amazing.
when I have time, I'll because I do have one left. I saw it when I was cleaning. I'm
We
moving
got a
on.
bunch of them.
You do? Well, let's make
Yeah.
let's make some more. I would like to give everybody the opportunity to listen and see that.
CDs have never been bigger.
Yes, they're huge. Mini disc is really where it's at, but yeah, CD will do. Yeah. All right, guys.
Be
Thanks.
safe, everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Take care, guys.
See you guys.
Adios.
Wow. That's
Some heavy stuff.
is
as a-
crazy, right?
That's a good rap session.
Holy shit. Man, was that a show? Did we go?
Wait, yeah, we went way long. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I really hope that people that listen to the show or that listened from back in the day found that to be enjoyable. I'm excited about them potentially being here. I'm excited about the, coronavirus not being in all our lives, and this other day where, there's talks of us playing music and looking at each other on stage and everybody who listens to the show being in front of us and we're all back and happy like it didn't even happen. I love that you guys talked because I was like, man, you never have ever done anything to have anybody feel you're one of those people like Bob Burnquist. If someone tells me they don't like Bob, it's their problem. I don't have to talk to Bob. So if someone has a problem with you, I know it's their problem because you're not a guy that if you have beef with Kevin Kraft, it's because you're an asshole.
I was very confused by it, and I'm glad that it's cleared up.
It made sense to me now when he talked and how you guys didn't talk. It makes sense how he would be that way.
Yeah.
Yay, we're all okay. And
All
we'll be
right.
back next week. I don't know what week it is, but thanks everybody. Don't die.